I'm waiting for people to join. Today's agenda is fluid, but I wanted to touch up on such subject as New Age versus Tantra. What's the difference? And I want to share my own experience with New Age because at some point in history, I started pursuing different like schools of, I guess, working with the mind several years ago. It became an essential thing for me because I could not keep up with my life because my experience was so crazy. I immigrated. I had certain like interesting events happening at my job, which was research assistant. I was going through the grad school and receiving funds through my research assistantship. So I had some crazy experiences there. Then with relationships, there also were some crazy experiences. Then environment was also crazy different. Hi. Let me know if you can hear me. Please drop something in the chat. I'm talking about New Age and Tantra. What's the difference, and if there is any difference? Because a lot of times people talk about New Age and Tantra being the same thing, the same woo-woo thing. So I want to just touch up on that and my own experience. So I had the craziest experience at some point where everything just like was just bunched up on me in my mind. And I remember I really needed to start meditating. I really needed to start introducing certain practices. I really needed to reimagine my life because I no longer had any internal support. I realized that the experience of my parents is now no longer valid where where I lived. Obviously, because they were in the other country, I had unique experience for my family. Then at the same time, I realized that I cannot keep living with certain programming, with certain paradigm that I had through my bringing. But I didn't have any adaptations that would help me to navigate my new life. And then 2020 happened on top of that. And 2020, 2021 basically stole my dreams. I knew that, okay, if I struggle now, I at least know why I'm struggling. But then 2020 happened. The whole world kind of like revealed its dark side to me. And I realized that, okay, now I struggle to even receive any motivation. Even if there is struggle that I'm willing to endure, you know, like I love to say that I don't mind paying for good service. I don't mind investing effort in something that I find worthy. But that was the feeling that I lost literally all motivation to do things. I'm talking about 2020 events. How, please drop something. By the way, drop something in the comments, please, in the chat, so that I know that you can hear me. And if you can't hear me, also let me know. So, 2020 happens, and I'm like, okay, so I struggled all of these years. I went through all those crazy experiences in my grad school, in relationships, moving places, living in the place that I didn't care to live in for nothing. Because now I realized that people who I would want to do some creative stuff, hello, people who I would want recognition from, they were all in absolutely different world. It became very vividly open to me, this information. And I realized that I lost every single mental support, every single mental idea for who I am, what I want to do, and my place in the world. Where are you from, gorgeous? I'm from California. I'm from Russia originally, but for the past 10 years, I've been living in the US, mostly East Coast, and mostly New York. So nice to meet you. And I'm like, what to do? I go to New Age. I start listening to, hi everyone. I start listening to different lectures, videos on New Age. Because they were providing some tools for actually, for me to start unfolding this process, like how can I live? But what happened to me as a result of that, you know how New Age is kind of based on some Indian religions? I have liked and subscribed to your YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. So I started listening to these things, and they just became so convenient for me in that moment because imagine I had very deep nostalgia for everything that I used to have back at home, obviously, because I had memories of my childhood, of my young, early student years, where my friends and I would be in the car, like driving around Moscow, night Moscow, going to some 24/7 places, having fun. Then it was absolute freedom. It was absolute Just like it was joy that was always at reach. You could always grab it, everyone. And I felt like I was so isolated from everything, every pleasure that I knew, every freedom, every enjoyment that I knew in life. And moreover, with 2020, 2021 events, with all the madness going in the world, I kind of started feeling that what if it was last time I experienced that? What if it was literally the something that I will never be able to reignite, something that I will never be able to feel or touch ever again. And so I go to New Age, and they have this notion of non-attachment, managing your emotions. And what I started adopting, and perhaps it was an essential thing back at the moment. Why do you have an Adam's apple? Some women do have it. I don't know. It's just my structure. It's not so big. It's normal, physiological. How old are you? I'm 31. How do I sleep at night? You sleep at night? There are some practices that you can do, some relaxing practices. But I go to New Age and I start learning about this non-attachment, ditching your emotions. It turned me into a monster. And I realized gradually that I no longer was able to listen to songs from the past because they were hurting me so strongly. I could not access my emotional range anymore. Yes, I was meditating. Yes, I was kind of coping with all the difficulties that I had, with everything that just came to my life all of a sudden. This like echo chamber. But I would avoid songs from the past. I would avoid interfacing with anything that would remind me of my past life because it was so unbearable. Any tips for period cramps? Yes. First of all, I would recommend you to revisit your diet. Period cramps really can be alleviated by removing grains, by removing different like processed foods, obviously, but grains are a big thing, and then reducing the amount of fiber that you eat and replacing them with high fat, high omega-3 content animal products can do wonders in the span of just a couple of cycles, couple of months for you. Period cramps will be really alleviated, I think. I can see. Hi. So, any tips for severe skin problems that don't go away for years? Again, it all boils down to diet, and I'm really strong proponent of going anti-plant-based diets and embrace healthy animal foods with high omega-3 content. So I really would encourage you to try it if you don't have any health restrictions that prevent you from that. So I'm like here, prohibiting myself any emotion, and it felt like, it really felt to me like emotional death at some point because I really wanted to feel something. I really wanted to play music and feel something. But for several years I was prohibiting that because I had very, very small throughput, emotional throughput. I was so tense, I was so scared, I was so uncomfortable in life for so long that my body just built this emotional callus that would not allow me to experience things anymore. And I remember the day I was talking to my friend, and I remember I decided to listen to one song. And I allowed myself to be touched by it, my song from the past. I listened to the song and I feel. And I remembered this moment so vividly. I was really happy that I was with my friend by my side because I felt like having some companionship there allowed me to feel safe and comfortable and not alone, like sharing this emotion. And it was so beautiful when I finally stepped out of that. So my interpretation of New Age practices, unfortunately, or maybe it was essential, it kind of turned me away from my emotions even deeper. It gave me some control. It gave me the tools to kind of manage, plus or minus, manage my life at that point. When again, I was, for the context, whoever joined right now, a couple of years into immigration, then grad school load, super stressful, super tense work, couldn't figure out my relationship thing, and then on top of that 2020 happens, and everything that I thought that I was doing it for, going through the struggle, kind of closed. So everything that I was going for kind of lost its purpose in a sense, at one moment momentarily, because I saw that everywhere where I could go after the grad school would not be an option for me anymore. So yeah, that moment when I, for the first time after those many years, I listen to music and I feel emotion was super huge revelation for me. It was super strong and touching moment. And since then, I started pursuing how can I get allow more life into my life, because living in this tension, living under this huge pressure, developing this emotional numbness that translates later into physical numbness, blockages in the body. It's impossible. It's exhausting. And then no matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, no matter relationships with other people, wherever you go, in the moment of silence, there will be this element of total emptiness inside. And that's where it becomes very scary, because you lose the idea of yourself, you lose the idea of life, and you stop understanding what is it all for. And gradually that what brought me to Tantra. And Tantra, I oftentimes receive this comment that, oh, it's some New Age bullshit. It's a very systemic method that actually does not set any prohibitions to you. It's the opposite of that. It's the opposite of having any dogma. It's the opposite of having any law. It encourages you to actually increase your throughput for life experiences, for emotions, and then to start embracing the flow of life. And gradually you grow into the person who can surf in the sea, in the waves of life with pleasure, effortlessly, joyfully. This is what it does in the span of several months, granted that you do all the practices, granted that you actually are committed to practices. And this is the goal. There is no law, there is no right or wrong. It all comes from within you, and again, it allows you to embody everything that you have, to unite everything that you have, your body, your emotions, your consciousness, everything. So this is what it was for me, and this is the prehistory. The point that I bounced off initially, when I, being naturally a very emotional person, very vibrant in expressions person, I found myself completely suppressed and scared, fearful of any senses, of any emotions, because I could not handle them. Let me read the chat. I do raw meat. To hell with with veggies. Kind of, yeah. I do rare meat. I do still cook it slightly, but I do prefer raw meat, yeah. Vegetables, yeah. After I was raw vegan before for 3.5 years, and it was nuts, yeah. Hello, Angel. Hi. You're smarter than the average American and beautiful at that. Thank you so much. Really happy to hear that. Hermione has a YouTube. Yeah. Tantric. Yeah. Emotions are overrated. You might be. I don't know. Emotions are overrated. How can you who rates them? I always have this question like, who rates them? Who is overrating them? I don't get it. If she was smart, she would get up and clean. Maybe if I was a janitor, I would get up and clean. Listen to how she's speaking. She's smart. Have you ever taken LSD? No, I haven't taken anything. The only substance, mind-altering substances that I have ever taken were caffeine and alcohol. I can never smoked anything or any pills or anything. I'm not interested in that. Another feet worshiper. Emotions are overrated because they're overrated. It's constant and all the time. Okay. So the tantric work, it starts not surprisingly with the body, because the body is where everything is stored, and this is something that we can easily tap, something that we can easily connect with. And the body work, breathing in particular, then in general working with the body and material objects is what are the forte things of Tantra. It's not just working in the psyche. It's not just working on some mental space. It's not just thinking rationally about what's happening in your life. It is a combination of everything. This is why the results happen so quickly, so rapidly. You suddenly get revelations about, oh, this is something that I could explore, or this is something where I have dysfunction. Oh, this is how it works. This is how I can do it. Really, this is how I feel relaxed. And then, oh, this is where I have tension on the background of that. So this is how it works. This is how it brings the results. And when I started practicing Tantra, the first thing that was, the first ever assignment was to build a list of desires. To build a list of desires that's something that describes your life in the most comprehensive way. And I remember how difficult it was for me from the point where I was, because imagine, I already had a career, I already had very high education, I lived in tropics at that point. I had everything. And I was struggling to feel this like flow of life, to feel this aliveness. And when I started writing down the list of desires, I was really struggling at first because I could not hear my desires even. I could not allow myself to desire. And that was the first thing that I faced. I was like, I can't even express my wants. And I remember it was a huge thing. Some people, actually I met several people, influential people in my life, who were asking me, what do you want? And I always struggled to describe everything that I wanted. There was always this fear of desiring. I knew kind of my plan, for example, for career. I knew my plan for my future, like moves around the world. Yeah, it was easy for me to formulate. But on some personal level, what did I want? I don't know. I don't know. But desires is what forms us, forms the core of ourselves, in a sense. Being able to formulate to yourself what do you want is how you create your path. Being able to formulate to your partner what you want is how you build relationships. Being able to communicate what you want to people around you, this is how you create businesses. This is how you claim leadership. And actually recognizing that I have blockages in desires was the first thing that I realized. But then when I started working on just the first practice of Tantra, and actually posted video, 13 steps of Tantra, how it brings a person from the state of some dark tunnel of their life when they are completely numb, when they don't feel anything, when they don't know who they are anymore, when they even don't know what's wrong with them, but it's just either hurts or they just don't feel anything. How it brings people from that point to the Garden of Eden, inside of the context of their life. So from that mental space, in 13 steps, you grow into realizing that you live in the Garden of Eden. You can enter the Garden of Eden right now. And in this Garden of Eden, you have this whole playground, this playground for creative pleasures. Hello, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for your question. I'm doing really well, thank you. Really happy to see you here. If you have any questions about Tantra, about Tantric lifestyle, New Age, any comments, stories, any relationship advice you would want, any life advice you would want, please ask in the comments. Infinity Max GD said. Then the person wants to ascend. If you're still here in the chat, if you have a reason, if you want to describe your life, how you're feeling right now, please share. Because this is something that I think we should work with. Tim Watkins. Stay tuned, basically, Tim Watkins. Haven't even finished watching the other Tantra video. I'm very happy that you are watching them. Are you watching the 13 steps one? I actually posted at live streams. They save with very quiet sound. So I have to download them. That will see duplicates on my channel because I have to download them, boost the sound, and then repost them as videos. So that's why I have duplicates. I don't know which version you're watching. But if it's 13 steps, 13 step one. Super good. Thank you. Let me know which step you're on. I have my notebook here with me. Tim Watkins shares that their life is ruined by and dull and boring, and watched their dad take his last breath before he passed away. So, how long was it since your dad passed away? Could you please give me some timeline, and also your life is ruined. You're alive right now, so by definition your life is not ruined. Let's just acknowledge that first. While you're alive, your body is regenerating. While you're alive, there's always a life force around you. And the passing of the parents, of course, it's a very hurtful event, especially if it's with some circumstances. So I want you to acknowledge what right now is in your life, and think about what is missing in your life, what you can be yearning for. No steps for me, I have an elevator. Nice. People with steps will have beautiful toned legs and glutes. I just got metal braces and rubber bands with... Oh my god. How old are you? I don't know, but I wore braces as a teenager, and I remember it was pretty painful every 2 weeks when they were adjusting them. Flavius Belarusiu, Belisarius, Belarus, oh my god. Are you Russian? Yes, I'm Russian originally. So, Kabelofoshoko was on the 4th steps of 13 steps of Tantra. I have nobody in my life, Tim Watkins shares. Thank you for your kind words. The Wolf of Candy, thank you. I'm very nice. I'm very well, thank you. I'll share how you are doing. So, have nobody in my life. And, well, my grandma is actually not single. She married at 45. She married a very wonderful man. Have nobody in my life. You are here right now with a bunch of people. Even though I'm talking to Tim Watkins right now, who is struggling with his life right now. You have at least parasocial relationship right now. You can tune in. You can sit with me right now here, and try to go into your body, because your body right now is the alive thing. It conducts energy. It conducts breath. It loves life. It wants to live. It regenerates. It does all the work right now to enjoy life. So your body is designed to embrace life, to regenerate, to thrive, and your body always wants to live, no matter what it's doing. And your mind also wants to live deep inside. There is a part of you that wants to... It's only a part. Acknowledge that there's a huge part of you that doesn't want that, that wants to live and embrace life. I want you to, right now, find the part of you that wants to live. Because your desire may be coming from the spot in which you think that it's a representation of your personality, but it's only a part of your personality that wants to self-annihilate. So let's not focus on that. Let's find some other parts of you that are still in tune with life. Let's find breath, let's find your body, and let's focus on that just for a couple of minutes. And stay tuned with me. Niley Pinette. What do you think about someone who has desire to better themselves, to make a career change, but cannot choose a path out of fear they will not succeed? I was there. I was there, but only, you know how the fear that they will not succeed, the fear that you will not succeed, literally can be outweighed by the fear that you will spend your life never having tried, never having lived authentic life, and that every year you go progress in your life, you're getting older, and it will be more difficult to decide to pivot. So this is a thing how you can put it in perspective, because the fear that you will not succeed is a very interesting fear. Imagine you have a path, right? Genetics, nature, God, however you want to frame it, whatever thing, or you even just desire, your desire exists. It's a given. It's a given. It lives in the flow of life. Basically, you as a living organism, you were brought to earth with all of your desires, with all of your wants, with all of the biological adaptations for your wants, for your sincere, authentic wants. And you're telling me that you're afraid of not succeeding. First of all, describe what is succeeding. Succeeding meaning that somebody will give you approval for what you're doing. Then also, does it mean that when you start pursuing what you want, even trying it, do you think that you need to abandon everything else? Or can you just create a domain in which you're trying, seeing how it works, testing whether it's yours or not, allowing some exchange of energy with that process? Have you tried? What steps were already taken there? Because, it's a kind of like hurt narcissistic thing or hurt ego thing that exists in a lot of people. On the one hand, I want to share with people. Usually it's like I want to share something with the world. I want to live this vibrant life. I want to enjoy it. I want to do what I want. And that's where the flow of energy is. It's super prolific. It's super like breathing in, breathing out. Super flow, super nice. There's a lot of ease in it. There's a lot of energy in it. There's a lot of exchange in it. But then there's the second part. It's a split personality thing. The second part is like, I cannot validate myself. Somebody else must validate it. I'm too small. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve to do it. Someone, please validate me. Please give me permission. Give me permission to do it. No, please, please. So it's one part of personality. It kind of regresses into the child in some like dysfunctional form, looking for authority, looking for protection, looking for someone to take responsibility. And the other part is a child that just wants to play. Life is to play. Life is very like fluid, playful experience in essence. So this part that is like, please give me validation, this part will never receive validation from the outside. This part can only receive validation from you. Because there is a trick there. Even if you come to the world and some people tell you, you're so amazing, like sincerely admiring you, you will not listen to these people. This hurt part, this hurt childish part that looks for authority, is drawn to a person will feel validated only by a person who will never give them this validation. It will be some psychopath. It will be some person who will not care about them. So this pursuit of validation externally is unhealthy. It will never be satisfied. You can only satisfy it internally. Or put your focus on just the process of this enjoyable activity that you want to pursue in life. That will be phenomenal. First steps will already make you feel like you're doing the right thing. You will receive internal instant gratification from doing the thing that you aspire to do, that you want to be doing more of. Just expand towards that. Find the domain, and I will give you an example. Okay, so I was in the grad school for engineering, and science is something that is kind of a little bit artificial for me. This I had to develop my cognition, my intellect, through a lot of hard work, external pressure to pursue. It was not something that I was born with naturally. So I'm more emotional, more sensual, more artistic person. Science was difficult for me to do primarily because it required me to sit a lot, to quiet myself down, and to do a lot of rigorous work at the desk. That was the hardest thing for me. But the moment I started balancing it with going to the art school, things became very harmonious. Then later in life, when I went to the grad school, I started with that. I started going to grad school for engineering. Most of my day I would spend at work, and then at home I would be thinking about my work, about my research. A lot of rigorous work, especially at the computer, where I need to do some modeling, when I need to do some like programming, was super hard. I stopped doing my art because I felt like I don't deserve to do art. I don't deserve to have fun with that. I need to earn it by doing more work in engineering. When I stopped doing my art, I became deeply depressed. Like deeply. I had zero energy. So I started introducing art. I would come from work. I would have like 1 hour in the evening, and I would do photography. I would set up some pictures. I would paint something artistic, and sharing it with the world. It's important for an artist to receive feedback. It's natural process. We don't just create art. We also create this form of communication, as giving something to the world. I started investing 1 hour of my day to doing art. My life felt like I had 36 hours in the day instead of 24, just because I started creating a domain for what my genetics was aligning with, what part of my personality, huge part of my personality, was craving. It was a phenomenal experience, phenomenal observation. Everything must live, everything must have life in you. If something exists in you, you must exercise it. This is the key. And you will see how much energy, how much fuel it will be giving you in all other areas of life. And then when you develop some critical mass, when you develop some skill, when you develop some management, have some good grip on this activity that you want to pursue, you might feel confident enough, and actually environment and circumstances will likely align with you to be able to pivot towards that, to do more of that, to perhaps start monetizing that, to get reward, like financial rewards, such that you can exchange this activity for receiving resources. Who knows? But it's imperative to create a domain for that. Let it live. Beautiful love, thank you. Love to you too. Are you single? No. Wifey material you are. Yeah. You wanna go outdated? Why? Hey, can you listen to my music? Not right now. Beautiful. How much do you charge for therapy? You look like a teenager. I am in my 30s. Thank you. I charge for my therapy. Currently, you can see the price on my website. First session is 50% off using the code FIRSTRFL. My website is rawformoflife.com. Human Renaissance is what you want. This is boring. Fall asleep then. Thank you. Talk about the flow of energy on Epstein. On Epstein, it's actually so fun. You know how people are so bothered by what was happening on the Epstein Island? It's actually an interesting thing to reflect on, because how many people in poverty, in penury, reproduce brainlessly, creating so much stuff for their children. Imagine the children felt it would be better to go to some island than to remain in their family system. Think about it from that perspective. That's the flow of energy. That's when people forget to grow up, and then they have children without being able to manage their own life. This tiered head problems. Oh my gosh, I don't understand anything. Let's be real though, the voice is adorable. Thank you. If my professor was as energetic as her, I would actually listen and learn something. Suggest the topic. I can teach you solar cell physics. And quantum physics I can teach you too. So smart, marry me. Won't work. But you're aware and are willing to try to understand. I'm falling asleep. Enjoy. Falling asleep is a really good thing. If I promote you high quality sleep, I will be just happy about it. But bear with me if I say something loud and will snap you out from some REM sleep. Tell me what the atomic value is of helium. Helium is what, 2-4? Just lovely. Fake accent. Oh my. That's weird. I don't know why you derived that. I am Russian. I don't know why you think it's fake. Are those your real eye color? Yeah, it's blue. Bluish gray. Just subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, guys, feel free to subscribe. Okay, you officially convinced me, madam. I'll subscribe and learn something. Thank you. Ask your questions. So, Niley Pinette, 9201. I hope this answered your question. And I don't want, I want to see Tim Watkins again. Where's Tim Watkins? Check in, please. Are you still here? Beautiful eyes. Thank you so much, guys, for your kind words. So you like... What? Why asking me about my food preferences? What are your thoughts as we get older to hold tantrum? I'm not really sure. My first thought would be to think what you mean. If you want to reward it a little bit, would be nice. About my food preferences, I actually... Oh my god, that... I think Tim is still here, maybe busy. I hope so, Tim. We're all waiting for you. Red Bull or Monster, which energy drink? Just pure life force, guys. I don't drink energy drinks. Hi, Mommy. Hi. Practice it, I'll guess. Practice Tantra, you mean? As we get older, what changes? I mean, the only thing that can change is your idea of yourself. Because people get older when they start feeling the idea that they're getting older. You know, they're like, oh, this is the age group. Especially if they like talk to some, they work in some corporate jobs, you know. They go in this circle where everybody is having this corporate world jokes about age, about family life, something very safe, something like in TV show, and then people build this idea of some age. What is age? We have neuroplasticity our entire life. Yes, it can get a little bit lower if we don't exercise, if we don't adopt new concepts. Very similar to my mother. So it's if we don't adopt new concepts, if we allow ourselves to adopt this rigidity that suddenly, you know, people prohibit themselves certain experiments, they prohibit themselves experiences because of their age, because I don't know who they elect as an authority for that choice, for that life choice, for the decision. But they make their life decisions based on some authority that they invented, and they're like, well, this is the age when this is supposed to be done this way. And then those like stupid jokes about physical condition and stuff. I know people who have excellent body, excellent health, a very young mind in their 50s. Hands down, it's just the mind and how you feel about yourself. And I posted a short today about the secrets to how to actually care for yourself. It's not about some idea. It's not about like watching thousands of health influencers trying to like scramble through different schools of nutrition, working out like a crazy hamster in the wheel. It's not about that. It's about to understand your role in the world, your placement in the world, and being connected with yourself through this creatorship. And then through libido. Those two things go together. But what people do, they find the relationship, they watch some like, you know, this like TV show, they watch the TV show in which they see that now we are family. What does family do? Family members just quietly hate each other. They lose romantic attraction. They lose any sexual spark between them. They become parents. They become workers. They become those like just like elements of system that come home just to rest and throw all of the tension that they've accumulated in the external world into each other. This is what happens. And this is like modern family life, maturity, adulthood, hashtag maturity, adulthood, sacrifice. Also, if they watch some, like this Jordan Peterson, who also tells them that the sacrifice is the key of adulthood. This is the struggle, the sacrifice. Fuck you. Why? Why? But if you have a habit of getting guided by those external concepts, okay, go age. But there is a way to just live in accordance to nature, your natural spark, your natural drive, and then you naturally start adopting healthy habits. How a person who recognizes their placement in the world, their placement in life, has respect for their talents, has respect for their gifts, their libidinous energy. They're always in tune with their body. They're listening for their body. They do body forward things. They listen to their mind. They take care of themselves on all those levels. They allow this flow of energy in and out, creative energy. These people, they don't feel like they can afford destroying themselves. They want to do everything, and it happens naturally, effortlessly, to feel good, to do good. That's what they will be doing because they love themselves. They love themselves as the element of nature because they love nature, they love creation. This is super mega spiritual even. It's super beautiful thing. Which aging are we talking about? Which inhibitions like to practice Tantra are we talking about? If you allow yourself plasticity, if you allow yourself this openness to all the concepts, instead of, as opposed to building some identity that I am this like identity, holding on to it. If you pursue the expansive life, you allow yourself anything, you can practice Tantra. It's not some fitness, it's not some Kama Sutra, you know, when there's like some super physical thing happening in some intricate position. It's not that. Tantra is about different thing. Tantra is about embracing the whole breadth of life. As I mentioned in the beginning when I just started the stream, when I started with my story, how at some point life became so hard on me that I gradually closed even from my own emotions. I was scared to experience emotions. I was not allowing myself to even listen to any songs from the past that would be inducing any memories, nostalgia from the past. I could not handle that. It was a shattering experience for me. So with Tantra, I was able to actually start embracing everything, to bring everything in here and now, in all its breadth. Time doesn't matter in this context. Time becomes literally the construct that you use for business. Time becomes the commodity, the unit, the physical unit that is commodity for the external world. It's important for me to know when we have a meeting. It's important for me to know how many hours I will be working today. It's important for me to know by which date I need to submit certain thing. But for me, in my personal life, time is nothing. You live in a different space. Experiential space. So there's no concept of time, age, and Tantra. Do you have an Instagram? Yes, I have art Instagram, which is AF Wonderlander. F Wonderlander. So you can subscribe to me, and also Raw Form of Life. Yes, because we lose interest and hold on to youth of past all around that health I feel. Yes. You start getting like you start feeling that, oh, it was so nice back in the day. You start getting nostalgic feelings. I also have a short about nostalgia. Please watch it. It's an extremely cool concept that was valid for me to master, and I wanted to share it so bad because it was a super big revelation that I had in the end of my tantric lore studies. I screamed. I was already in bed. And I had this eureka moment. I went, I grabbed my phone. I recorded the message to my friend. I shared with my partner. I was so excited to realize that. But yeah, holding on in general. Holding on is antithesis of tantric life. Holding on. Life is always going. Life is always pulsing. I give this analogy. Having the advantage that I have a physics degree. All our senses perceive energy moving. We cannot perceive energy just existing. Everything is in the flow. Everything is in the movement. But the problems in human psyche begin when we start trying to control, squeeze, trying to like grab something. I won't allow air to go through my body. I won't. I need to control. We need to control our partner. I'll marry you. I'll marry you. I'll marry you. And the government will be now in control of you, bastard. You'll be on the chain. Then, at work, money, I'll just work and work to get this money. I'll hold on to my job. God forbid, I will be not with my job anymore. My habits, my identity. No, nobody will steal my identity. What happens? You're blocking your flow of life at that moment. And this is where problems commence. Because you're violating the flow of life. Life is going, you're not. You're trying to hold on. You're like the dam that's about to be broken. And of course, yeah, people start feeling suffering from attempts to hold. Also, the funny thing, when you think about Tantra, there are actually so many influencers, male influencers who are like into semen retention. To not lose, to not lose vital energy to this filthy partner of mine. Absolute nonsense. Holding on to things, if you don't, if there's no strategic value to that, for example, you want to move on in life and you're saving up a certain sum of money to spare, but to spend them afterwards for certain experiences. Unless this is some part of some strategy, some life process, holding on will only bring you trouble. But what happens is psyche uses it as a defense. I'm holding on to something. Oh my god. A lot of influence flags it. Tim maybe needed a break. It must have been a sensitive topic for him. Yeah, we kind of have swinging between energies right now because Tim came with a very intense request, with very intense struggle, and then I was trying to answer other comments and maybe dissuaded him a little bit. I hope he's doing okay. I hope Tim will join and check in. Only that place people will judge you on the smallest things, like the clothes you wear. Communication gets lost. Would you marry me? Yeah, I don't agree with that either. It's better to live and be grounded in that spark. This is a lot of information at once. It's amazing. Yeah, I deliver every stream, and I stream several times a week. What I realized, though, is that on Sundays, barely anyone joined. I had such an amazing stream that I posted 13 steps of Tantra, and I had only 86 people, I think, in total joining in all throughout. It was a 2.5 hours of me giving this beautiful, passionate lecture on how Tantra works exactly, like what to expect from Tantra therapy. Because it's a mystery for a lot of people. Everybody thinks that it's some intricate kind of sex, but it's much more than that. So please watch that video in the recording. Where's Moose and Squirrel? I don't know. I only have a dog. Keeping balance for sure. It is harder as we get older because of obligations and responsibilities. So it's more mentality. The obligations and responsibilities, yes, life. But look at this. People become older. Yes, a lot of responsibilities come our way. But the difficulty comes when people actually have a lot of unclaimed things. I think what drains people is not obligations and responsibilities, but obligations and responsibilities that are in a potential plane. I also coincidentally have a video about that, about how not committing to something drains so much more energy than actually committing to something and being in the process. Because a lot of times people live in assumed agreements with the system. They feel like they signed some contract, some obscure contract, and they put some limitations on themselves. Like basically forgetting that they have free will. And then also people have dreams that they don't act on. They feel like they have to do some job A in order to get somewhere in life. But then if they never act on something that is inherent to them, if they break this connection with themselves at the root, then they will be just draining energy. They will be in the system that is not aligned with them. It's like expecting from certain fiber optics tuned to certain spectrum of wavelengths to conduct some other wavelengths. It will be not efficient. We need to conduct where we are capable of conducting, using our skills, something that we already have established, something that comes to us naturally, at least as well as serving in the system for some benefit. If we already established reception of benefits through some job, for example, that we don't care too much about, but it pays our bills. It gives us resources. But we also need to employ that. So it's just a matter of hygiene. It's a matter of hygiene in life and putting everything in its own place. Because every system you interact with, you receive energy from it. You receive energy from that system. You receive the reward. You receive financial reward from that system or resource reward. But the system in which you conduct really well, you'll be receiving a lot of reward from and a lot of energy. So your net energy spendings might be much smaller, even positive, if you start embracing something that that is aligned with your character, that is aligned with your skill fully. It's a really beautiful process. I remember, like, I started teaching. I was private teacher for in the family. I worked as a teacher. I was teaching children physics, math, Russian language, English language, and arts. And also, we did some cultural program. We would go to museums, would go out. Parents really wanted me to be their basically mentor of their children. They were very, very wealthy family, and they had 5 kids. So I was the mentor and teacher in that family back when I was in Russia. And I remember I would work with them for 7 hours. 7 hours. Their mom would be already in bed in the evening almost. She would come from the bedroom, hand me like a stack of money, and say thank you. And I'd be like, oh, money. There's also money for it. And I would go home. I would have a workout. I would go hang out with my friends. I would sleep like 6-7 hours. That was enough. I was full of energy after that work. This is the most beautiful thing. And knowledge that this is how it can be is super liberating. It's something that should inspire every of you to pursue your path. When you're like, oh, there's also money here. That's the most amazing thing. When you can find some occupation, some job, something that gives you that feeling. Because energy charge is positive. This is how it feels to be fully alive. This is how it should feel, in my opinion. But at least that's what I pursue. That's the standard that I set for myself. And expand on that even more. You're extremely beautiful. You should be a model, and I say that respectfully. Thank you so much, especially since you say it so respectfully. I cannot be a model because I am short. I am 163 centimeters, and the models start at 170. So I cannot be a model. Plus also, I mean, I model in my own business. So I guess that counts. Why not? Because modeling business is not so fun. I have been there too. I subscribe to you, okay, love? We're 2 worlds apart. Why do you sell yourself online? What? I sell my service, my expertise, not myself. You're confusing something. I hope we can collide soon and just be with one another. Understand? What the F is this accent? It's Russian accent. It is Russian. Physics? Yes, physics. It's physics channel with my future wife. I have say transistor radio. I guess I did. I've gotten better at not anchoring to my past and enjoying the nostalgia moments and placing forward with what life gives today. But I want to explore and grow more without limits, so I'm curious. What do you mean by ditching the limits? Let me see. You have another message here. Now I see I don't want to be that way with being suppressed and holding on. So I have made huge changes these last few years. That's really nice. It's really cool that you already pursued the path, because it's not everyone will actually think, not everyone will understand that there is something that like uncomfortable, something in their mind that doesn't sit with them. It's really cool that you were proactive with that. That's what I can say right there. It's amazing that you were able to find some path. Limitless is when you integrate when you start integrating, nostalgia becomes not like even something in the past, but something in the now. In the video that I posted in the short, I probably said it a little bit more concisely, but here I will elaborate for you. Let's take this example of past experiences of nostalgia. What I meant in that video, what I talked about, everything you experience, all of your feelings, okay? Feelings. Feelings are only in the now. Because your feelings are what? Your feelings are body producing hormones. And your body's like brain receptors are feeling it. You have receptors, you have hormone production, and you just respond to them. These are feelings. Nostalgia is a feeling. Every thought that you're thinking, you think that it was in the past. When you think about your past, you think that I felt so cool back then. Realize in that moment that you feeling that, you felt it in the past, you're feeling it now. The thought is in the past, the feeling is in the now. This is now, the feeling is now, and you're feeling those amazing feelings that you think your thoughts are traveling in time. Your body is always in here and now. The thought brought you concept that it was there and then. The feeling is now, and you should feel, understand this beautiful thing, the most amazing thing on the planet, that this maybe bittersweet feeling, some unusual, extraordinary brightness level feeling that you think was in the past, you're feeling now. And what you do when you feel nostalgia, focus on everything that surrounds you, take a photo snippet of what is happening right now, ground in your body while these hormones are pumping, and train your brain that this is in the now. Show it that the thought is traveled, the body is in the now. So give it, associate new imagery with that. How beautiful is that? This is your solution. Whenever there is any nostalgic thought about the past, immediately bring yourself in here and now in your thoughts. Realize that the feeling you're feeling right now is about this amazing moment in your life. That's it. That's the trick. Imagine listening to this 24/7. Let me imagine. Quick question. Can you see my chat? Just wondering, it turns gray when I send it. Rosie, I only saw one message from you, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I haven't seen any previous messages. I hope that if you send something, be mindful of some keywords. Maybe YouTube blocks some messages, but I just saw this message. If you send something else, feel free to try resending it. I will be trying to see. We'll be monitoring that. Have very good energy. Thank you. What's your favorite food? My favorite food is... different. I mean, I love everything. You know, you're asking a tantrika who is embracing the breadth of experiences. You're asking about the favorite food. I enjoy so many things. I enjoy everything from... I don't know. I enjoy so many things. I will just name you literally everything I eat, because everything I eat I enjoy. And I enjoy everything I eat. Really difficult. Well, how do you handle infidelity in a relationship? Me? Or do you want advice for yourself? Please clarify that, Cosmic Scholar R. Cosmo, why do you expect fidelity? So let's just get married already and make our dreams come true together. Gabrielle, we'll have to check out your posts and theories. Thank you for your insight and depth. Have a good day. Betty. Oh my goodness, girl, you look just like me. We might be related. We're so pretty. Thank you so much. I see your photo. Oh my god. It's indeed. Yeah, it's so cool. Memory, you know. Where are you from, if not secret? Hello. Hi, Sokol. Did he do it? I think did he? You're my dream girl. Going to need another notebook for all this. Yes. Look at my notebook. This is the wisdom. Wisdom that didn't fit in here. Have a blessed day. We're not doing that well, but we have to stay positive. Greetings from Mexico. Mexico, yes. People, hold on. And try to be in yourself at this moment. I know you're going through things. I know it's very easy to get swayed mentally by so many things that are happening right now to you. The best thing that you can do right now, if there is no actionable thing to do in the outer world, try to get grounded in your body. Try to get grounded in your own life, in your little home. Try to find something that gives you control. Try to find some ritual that you do. Something, it might be your cup of tea. Don't give up that. Try to get your cup of tea or cup of coffee, whatever it is, maybe with some cookie, something. something that gives you this comfort, something that gives you the sense of everything is all right. At least for some time in your day, do this. Anyone who is in very difficult life situation right now because of some external forces, this is my call for you. You are grounding in your body and you're finding one little thing or a couple of little things, as much for as much resource you have, some little ritual that brings you sense of normalcy, because this will give you the sense of home, this will give you the sense of some stability, it will anchor you. And if you need to make decisions, your mind will be calmer, you will be coming from within, from some space, some home space inside of you. So forces, does she just keep yapping or does she talk to us? I talk to you. Ohio, Wakanda. She talks way too much. Some of these comments is something else. Somebody's bragging about, I've been listening to you for a few days and I enjoy listening to you speak. You're a very bright woman. So train the brain to think in the present, not the past. Yes, even using the things that come from the past, even using the thoughts that are about the past or about the future. This is a super cool trick. Try it. Again, just think to yourself, let that sink in, how people say. That feelings and body are only in the now. Thoughts can travel, feelings can't. Feelings you experience always in the now. And you can rewire, you can reattach thoughts to feelings. That's another trick you can do. Because your brain perceives that, okay, that was the thought, gave me the feeling, I feel it now about the thought in the past. But then you can, as I responded to the other comment, you can think about anything in your life right now and reattach new thought to your feeling in the now. She's making this up as she goes. I mean, it's an original thought process, of course. I mean, it's born on the spot, but it's born from previous experience. So she just can't stop talking. Minori, please tell me, how else do you do live streams? Should I do something like this? Like what's supposed to be? At least she reads chat fast to catch up. Lol. Exactly. I like her constant monologuing. It's hypnotic. Again, people, I don't know. I'm kind of new to live streaming. If it's not supposed to be my presentation, some contribution, what else should it be? I'm not gaming. I'm not a mukbang channel or anything like that. What should I do? Like, what? I love you. New notebook acquired. Continue, madam. Then, so many people in the chat are enamored by how you look. At this point, you should be a model. I'm a model for my own business. I just formulated that. I employed myself as a model for my business. Thank you so much for your kind words and compliments. It's really pleasant to hear. And really, really kind of you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do yoga. Right now, I'm kind of doing yoga. Mental yoga. Imagine what I'm doing right now. I'm both thinking and observing and reading the chat. How is it not a yoga? And also I'm channeling my energy in the very directed way. Actually, observe that. It's a total yoga right now. I'm sitting in the lotus pose for a form of it, for a shape of it, but I'm also doing much more than that. I'm projecting energy, so pure communication. I'm projecting information from within that I generate. I also observe it because I'm planning my content, what I'm going to say, and I'm also reading the chat, and I'm communicating with you. I'm receiving your energy, your information, and I'm responding to that on the spot. This is yoga. Oh my god. What colors are your toenails painted? I want to see them. Quentin Tarantino fan. My nails are natural everywhere. Okay, I got it. Attach feelings to thoughts to think of present, not past, now and not before. kind. You'll figure it out. You will experience that and you figure it out. I can't wait to marry you. I have to get ready to go to work. I can't believe I'm falling in love with you. Ignore them. People enjoy talking on these lives. You'll gain a bigger audience soon. Thank you, Dwayne. I can't ignore them though. People are giving me their love, even if it sounds like something weird on the at first glance. This is literally people share. So it's very important to acknowledge that, because this is how people feel their existence. This is how people actually get seen by the world. How beautiful is that? I think it's a cool thing to actually acknowledge them. But yeah, I know that what? I just can get confused because I think I realized that you mentioned probably something. But yeah, I said all. I like the trick about appreciating nostalgia in the present. Never thought about it this way. Me neither. And I spent, as an immigrant, I remember I was going so nuts. Like 2 years in immigration, I started feeling, plus also with some deprivation, because I came from Moscow to some upstate New York suburbium, where for the first time in life, I witnessed such a phenomenon as the sidewalk ending. Like you're walking, and the sidewalk ends. So I never experienced that before. I was in Moscow a lot of my adult life. So imagine that. So 2 years in my immigration, I started having mega flashbacks. The nostalgia started being so violent because of deprivation of so many things. I literally would be sitting doing just anything, even intellectual work, and I would get this flood. Totally overwhelmed with a feeling of nostalgia. It was unbearable. Are you from London? No, I'm not from London. Great, I didn't figure it out. Well, looks like I need more Tantra insights. For more Tantra Tantra. I like how people sometimes mock me in the comments, like, Tantra Mantra, la la. I recommend video 13 Steps of Tantra. But I also recommend watching it probably in 2x speed, because I took my sweet time there. But maybe you will get in the rhythm. It was a live stream, so it started off kind of... I cut out some introduction from the saved version, the video version, not live version. Boosted the sound there, so check it out. I acknowledge it. Thank you. I love you too. I want to visit Switzerland. Visit it. Make it possible. Switzerland is so beautiful. I don't know where in Switzerland you want to visit. I've never been there, but I'm very curious. There are some very beautiful cities. I actually was considering Switzerland as possibly going doing postdoc there. I was thinking about it because it's really, really pretty. But I never execute on that. Maybe. Still open to it as an option. Okay, thank you, madam. Jesus loves you. I don't know any Jesus, actually. I never met a person. Maybe I met a person named like that. I don't know. You don't know the Bible? I know the Bible. I mean, it's an ancient Jewish ancient Jewish mythology book. I like Greek mythology much better. Ancient Greek mythology fascinates me much more than ancient Jewish mythology. And even, even some pagan traditions are so fun too. I love them because they're so connected with nature. They're very, I don't know, they're just very natural. They make sense. But then people did it, even within any tradition, I think people still did some nonsense stuff, so it's not a myth. Up to you. I mean, for me, it's myth. It's, I don't want to discuss it, honestly. Most human history sounds like a myth because a lot of it is, a lot of human history is written by one side, because whoever took advantage of something wrote the documents, wrote the acknowledgement things. So we cannot judge even human history as something that definitively and wholly represents the reality. and you're talking about some mythology book, about some people who had some revelation. Then no, thanks. I just had revelation today. Should I write a book? What's your thoughts on vacations? Are intentional breaks from the routine necessary? This is, see, it's an interesting topic. Vacations as a break in the routine. Uh, I like changing environment, actually. And I don't like stagnation by no means. But there is a thing, whether you want to live a routine and then have a blip of vacation, you need to think what this vacation means to you. Or you want to have experience A, then in a timely fashion, before you burn out from experience A, you evolve to different experience. You put yourself to some novelty, then you live through it. Then you go to more novelty, you live through it. Which lifestyle will be more interesting to you to pursue? Whether you live like on like first of all, yeah, what you want to get from the vacation. If you want to get from the vacation the opportunity to be yourself, to live on your own terms, then it's probably worthy to start designing your life in a way that you can always live on your terms and take care of yourself and be yourself. This way, the desire to go on vacation may give you an insight that you're kind of not living on your own terms necessarily. Or at least most of your time you're living not on your terms. Or the domain where you live on your own terms is insufficient right now. So this is what attitude towards vacation should tell you. But if vacation for you is a way to get more impressions, new impressions, to broaden your perception of the world, to fluff things up, then maybe yes, it's good. So this is a deeper question to you to think about. I think you will really benefit from that, because there is a way you can design your life to live always on vacation, so to speak. What your favorite song by Simply Red? I don't know, only one song by them, I think, or two. The most popular one. You should visit a Catholic church. I visited plenty of them, thanks. Very creepy places. Very creepy but captivating, you know? It's this dark atmosphere, super perverted, with their appeal to corpses. You know, they have those decaying corpses laying in them. They have this it's such a BDSM space, actually, churches. When you look at them, oh my god, they trigger so many feelings. It's crazy. Churches, I go there and I experience feelings that are not spiritual by no means. They're literally my shadow. They make me wander through my shadow, not through. They don't cause me to have some enlightened, loving ecstasy. No, they're super dark places. And oh my god, yeah, the BDSM culture comes to my mind when I think about those churches, especially Catholic, with all of the perversion that they. My god, it's insane. Apologies for the interruption, guys, but what was the topic again? Or are we just free sharing? We can free share. The topic initially was New Age and Tantra, but then people started sharing their things, their issues, and we started just chatting. Is this Dennis Witherspoon? No, this is Nastya. Raw form of life. So Kiva, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I kind of already got in the flow of just talking to people, but yeah, I will cover any topic like relationship-wise, intimacy-wise, tantra, emotional wellness, career, burnout, academic work, actually. If someone is a student, if someone is a PhD student, especially working under huge pressure. So, you look like just like Reese's sister. Sure, I think Reese Witherspoon, yeah, some people were saying that I share some features similar to her. I think it's the chin. But yeah, Kiva, questions are accepted. Okay, I'll just little sharing topic. I'll just title it sharing topics then. I'm also just listening and taking notes. Thank you. You're pretty judgmental of something you don't understand. I understand it. You're pretty judgmental of my understanding. So, if it works for you, then make it work for you. You're pushing something on me, and I am responding about my opinion. So I'm entitled to my opinion, my view of that, as much as you are entitled to your own opinion about your beliefs, my beliefs, anybody's beliefs. It's a free sharing space. But yeah, you're right now judging me for you make an assumption that I don't understand what I'm talking about, but I know very well because I was deeply immersed in the Orthodox Christianity culture, and then also in the US, I was also shocked and had very deep conversations on the topic of those religions. So, your lost soul, I hope your God approves of you saying that. You must be very versed in your religion to be making these statements right now. Thank you, madam, for your answer. You're always welcome. So, on these religions, I mean, I have too much to say. That's why I don't talk about it. And if you want to continue harvesting energy here, go ahead. I'm there at your disposal. It's my stream. You're my guest. Frank, I don't think Jesus would approve you being so pushy. Um, in Catholic Church, I think it's not about Jesus. It's also about Virgin Mary. How fetish it is to think about virginity and all of these things. It's crazy. With religions, there's so much to talk about. Yes, there's too much to talk about. It's not, especially with institutionalized religions. But again, it's an important tool. I think it shouldn't be dismissed because a lot of people will find some salvation there. What I don't like about religions is when they start grouping together, and when they start making it some when governments start being non-secular, when policies start in some way affecting being affected by those things. And unfortunately, people don't understand the role of all of those institutionalized religions. You know, it's like the first person who beat in the tambourine and caused the rain started making an infinite amount of money from something that people didn't understand. And then with agriculture, distribution of Abrahamic religions and preceding religions, like in Egyptian religion and stuff, they were necessary as a valve to keep slave force working in the fields with their butt in the air, such that people have some understanding that yes, this life is kind of have to work in the field or carry bricks the entire life to feed family, and then afterwards there will be some salvation. And make sure to pay your governor also, and to your church. So this is my view on that, on the systemic religions, if you're wondering. I struggle to imagine that I will ever support any of them. The community aspect is a positive. It is for some people, yeah, it is surely. When it is a mature religion, that is just a hobby religion. When it becomes a weaponized thing, I'm sorry, that's too much. Critical thinking. When you turn on critical thinking, when you turn on your ability to question things, when you turn on your connection with nature, when you touch the grass, this is when you will start asking questions, and this is when certain revelations will come to you. I think it's the biggest what's it called? It's just nuts. I don't know. This topic triggers me because, like, residually triggers me because some of the people that I was closely related to, in some moments, got sucked into those beliefs. And I argued with them that it's literally the death cult. Because what's worshipped is life after life. And the worse the current life is, the better it will be afterwards, and the sooner this better will happen. Which people just denounce their responsibility for their life. They denounce responsibility for their well-being. They have some like daddy issues or something, trying to seek some authority. They're fatigued in life, and they never found what it is that they love and want to do in life, truly, naturally, deeply. And then they go to those people who start convincing them to go down this rabbit hole, guilting them for everything that they've done in life, guilting them for their nature, promising them that then and there something good will happen. Instead of discovering, if also another thing, people who believe in God, they hate this world. They hate people who God created. They hate world that was created by God. It is if you go to artists' home, you look at their gallery, you look at their masterpieces, and you're like, "Phew, disgusting. I want to talk to you directly. I want to be accepted by you. I don't care for your artwork." This is super offense for any artist. So if you love God, you love the world that He created. You love everything in this world. You love nature. You love yourself. And this is the most godly, the most spiritual thing you can do. Because this is appreciation of creation. And moreover, the next step is to appreciate the creation in you. This is this is the best thing you can do. And this is what will be very in line with actual definition, the idea of God that people created. I got sucked but not into beliefs. How did you get out? Dwayne says, I was raised in religion as well, so it triggers me too. I was literally talking to a lady who her entire, imagine Orthodox Christianity, they use iconography. Her entire room was in religious literature. Icons, everything. And this lady was inviting me to her home, to her room, and she was giving me lectures on how abortions are evil. At the same time, this lady was threatening my mom, who was pregnant for my brother, telling her that she must do an abortion. It's insane. I've seen so much of that. Sorry, no. God is love. Love? Love? You're very right about the rejection of enjoying and respecting the present and putting too much stock in an imagined post-life paradise. Because it's lifting the responsibility. Imagine how entitled it is. Somebody created paradise, put you on earth with creative skills. You are like, no, hell no, I'm not going to create paradise here. I'm not going to create this. I'm not going to pursue uncovering this intention for paradise. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not going to research myself. I'm not going to study this paradise here. I'm going to go to paradise that someone's created. It's entitlement to not want to work for it, not want to create it for yourself. Go into some church, go into some afterlife in your mind. Because there somebody made it for me, waiting for you. Just, yeah, also on the premise of suffering and denial of natural laws. Wonderful. I'm still here, love. I had to get ready for work. I know. You know, I think really I love you now. That's crazy. Yes. Denying Jesus considered denying ultimate reality. Sure. Jesus is an archetype. There's no denying of it. There are archetypes in every culture. Sun is the ultimate source of love on earth. Sun, sunshine, sunshine. Every religion comes from sun worshipping. And the more north you go, the more the role of sun is important, because it becomes more scarce. But then in the south, I guess it becomes too brutal. So it's also important to worship sun. But sun, people recognize that sun is the source of energy and life on earth. There's no other energy, physical energy, coming from anywhere. Must do in duration is crazy. Guys, this topic is getting interesting. Lots of opinions. I love weirdos telling people they love them like she's going to want to meet these weirdos. I mean, it's love is a spectrum, you know. Of course, it's a parasocial relationship. I'm showing some part of me. It's interesting. I also actually follow some people on YouTube for a while. I can't say that I love them, but I feel like I'm a little bit emotionally attached to them. And I acknowledge that they show just a part of them, but nevertheless, they kind of give me some bits that I crave in my life. So I appreciate them for that. Can't say that it's love, 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 love. But I mean, again, what's love? Love is a spectrum. Uh, oh, there's more thing. I don't want to keep discussing these matters. I'm sorry. I spent so much time in my life, so much energy talking about these topics because, again, it was my loved ones who were affected by that. I don't want to discuss it in the just as a casual conversation. Have you ever heard of tulpas? I think I did. I never studied that. I just tangentially heard that. I think I watched one video a couple of years ago about it. But if you want to elaborate, such that I don't Google, would be nice. Would be very kind of you. If you just want to describe the concept, just to freshen it up for me. Lol. I think we have to get you a bigger female audience. It will come. Actually, I'm surprised. I had a lot of streams about relationships. It's guys who come with so much awareness. It's guys who come with such a demand, such a like wholesome demand for high quality relationships. It's amazing. It's amazing to me. I mean, I was always kind of blessed. I always was surrounded by very intelligent, very creative, very unusual, like genius kind men. So to me, it's a comfort zone to communicate with such men. But at the same time, I'm like, whoa, it's so cool that they're kind of embracing that side of their life. It's phenomenal. I love that. Sorry to hear your loved ones was affected. Madam, we can move on. Thank you. Thought forms, also used for mysticism and spirituality. Thought forms, elaborate more. What are thought forms on your notion? The female audience is not already big here. I actually need to check my stats. But men, I think guys are active. I don't know. I only can judge from the context and from the avatars. Thank you. You're welcome. So questions while we're discussing the thought forms. Thinking about thought forms right now. With one definition. You know, by the way, I will tell you. Okay, an entity, usually another human, you can create in your mind. Oh, that's actually a thing that is used. There are practices when we enter, not just purely working in our own space, when we only are approaching interpersonal relationships in Tantra, working with interpersonal relationships, we create an image. It is an image with certain qualities, with certain projection. Like you close your eyes, you can imagine a person, how they project fully, right? Not just their rational qualities, but their appearance, everything, how they hold themselves. We create the image of the ultimate lover, someone who can induce in us the most beautiful, the most exciting feelings, and exciting feelings on all levels. Intellectual, some like emotional attachment, like oxytocin driven feelings, and also in the sexual plane. So we create that ultimate lover, ultimate adoration object. And we work with that object to heal our relationships with the opposite sex or the same sex if it's a gay person. We work on that to build certain or raise up certain qualities of ours that we want to improve, enhance. We use that image to improve certain actions in our life, and in general to heal the concept of relationship. If person, for example, is after some relationship struggle, relationship trauma, and that also translates later in this divine union, that also is used to heal a multitude of sexual problems even. And that is, and even not just sexual problems, different life problems. So this is a very fascinating thing. So I guess if you agree with my description that it corresponds to that thought form, then that's how it's used. Uh, Interesting. It's not awkward, but it's beautiful to enjoy your life and your partner. Just it's not. If you want to elaborate a little bit more, I know that you have only certain number of symbols you can use, but Corey, if you want to elaborate a little bit in the next comment, would be nice what you meant to say, because I want to comment on that too. What I wanted to share with you while everybody's writing is what I'm working on as a Tantra coach, as a Tantra therapist. One big thing is, you know how I'm here like excited, haha. One big thing that I realized actually in my own certain conflicts in my personal life, by reflection, what I value, what I need to navigate certain life situations, is to create space for healing. Because oftentimes, you know how like I want to deliver certain idea, I want to deliver certain thought, and I want to be like, hey, work, thing, work, work, work. I want you to work, hey. Can you function, hey? Function as I want, hey, and there is this temptation to try to push things. And as a coach, for me, after my teaching career, after my consulting career, after everything that I've done through the years, and I had quite a bit of consulting experience, including research consulting for startups, including consulting for corporations for some software. I was software company I was working for. After all of that, I come to Tantra, and I realize that the human is the one who performs their healing. It is, I am there to to suggest, to create space for healing, to give the idea, to give the direction, to guide, but it's always must be the path that the person walks. And to me, some interesting thing that I've been working on is to actually step back and create the space and keep the space for the little sprout of new thought, of new understanding for a person to emerge. And that has been one of the things that I learned in Tantra also in terms applied to relationships. It's so wonderful when you become very when you recollect yourself through certain practices, through certain mental practices. At some point it clicks to you that, oh, I am a whole person now. And the first time you see your partner as a whole person is super fascinating. This is where you feel super like flow of love finally. No transactional relationships. No expectations. No bitterness. Some like guilt, victimhood exchange. Nothing of that exists anymore. It's just two people and the space in which these two people are in relationship and in love. With the client, it's the same way. Because what happens, clients oftentimes, some of the clients will come, they will be coming from the place, and it's totally normal. They will come from the space of where they are in the hurt childhood, childish role. So initially, oftentimes as a therapist, as a Tantra therapist, you're dealing with the hurt child. And it's very tempting to respond to this child's yearnings as I will be your parent. I will do it for you. I will do it instead of you. This is your solution. Take it. This is yours. And this is something there's such a temptation as Tantra coach to be doing, but it's so wrong. And that's something that I started working on. And I think it's such a transferable skill to literally every relationship we have, to allow space for some fellow human to come up with their own sprout and let it grow. So that's some background thing for me, something where I was growing a lot while I was learning to be a Tantra therapist, Tantra coach. And also, it translates to relationships so nicely. Because also another feature of mine was always was this like savior. I always like loved to save people. Like somebody complains about something, I cannot just listen to their complaints and be like, okay, I hope you'll figure it out. I cannot do that. I'm like, here, I got you covered. Let me tell you, you should be eating this. You should check out this. Let me tell you. I got you. Let me show you something. Let me teach you this. And I will be just like dumping my energy into the person. They just complained. They didn't tell me that they came, for example, to improve their life. They didn't come to me. They just complained about something. But I'm there. I'm employed in their problems and I'm gonna save them. You know, I was always on this mission. Oh my God, it's such a draining thing to do. And this year, again, I practiced that thing that I'm no longer saving. I'm co-creating with someone. That's such a paradigm shift. It's insane. So it's something I want to share with you guys. Let's see the chat. Okay, I other questions in peace. Being in relationships, good or bad? Mean communication is very important. No lie, no drama. I remember, by the way, I had some question about fidelity and infidelity, how to handle infidelity. And drama and lie, I guess, are on the same note here. I don't know. It's why did two people build a relationship in which there is space for lie and drama? How did that happen? I think if I was to work with such a request when there's like relationship rigged by lie and drama, there I would be approaching it from the perspective of how it happened. What was preceding that? Because why did some person start lying? Their adaptation. It's very scary to say the truth. Why is it scary to say the truth? What's the power dynamic in the couple? Because who is lying usually? Usually it is children lying to their parents. Which means that we lie to people who we regard as an authority. This like lie plus anxiety, this guilt and shame come together when we place ourselves beneath our partner. We place ourselves as a child beneath our partner. Partner has an authority. We start manipulating. We start lying to them because we're scared of their authority. We don't feel like we are ourselves entitled to our own boundaries, our own will, our own decisions, our own wants. We're not entitled to that, so we can only get them indirectly. And we start doing all of these manipulation tactics, lying. We're very scared of our boundaries. Yes, it's somewhere parents perhaps made you fearful of your desires. Parents made you fearful of certain representations of your will, expressing your desires. But you're now living as an adult, here and now. What is the interest? How can we reframe the relationship such that you are no longer here and your partner is here in your imagination, but you're like this? Because this system, this dynamic, it won't serve anyone. This partner will get exhausted, will start being like a little bit objecting you because you're weak, you're insufficient, you're always wanting something. The energy flows there, kind of. It's exhausting and unpleasant. You are living also not being able to directly grab what you want. You're living and constantly oppressing yourself. You are not living your life. You're always regarding someone as your authority. You're looking at the world through their eyes. And this is why you want to lie. Because you cannot claim your responsibility for your life. You cannot claim your decisions because you're scared of something. And this is exactly what Tantra can work with to remove this fear. Oh, my dog is playing ball suddenly. So you remove this fear that prevents you from claiming what you want. And how do we remove fear? We don't just tell a person, remove the fear. Achalai machalai, fear is gone. No, we don't say that to a person. When we work with the person with fear, we teach them to see other support systems in life. Where else can you find application of your forces? Where else can you find energy? How else can you balance your life? How can we grow this internal support such that you can, for the first time, communicate with your partner directly what you want from the depth of your mind, your heart, however you want to frame it. John, hi. Your questions are welcome. Anything related to Tantra, relationships, intimacy, life in general, burnout, fatigue, lying, drama, anything. Now, when someone lied to you, do you have to lie to your partner such you leave the relationship? And thank you for answering my questions. You're really welcome. So, when somebody lies to you, you leave the relationship. It's very easy. There's pop psychology sometimes on YouTube or some influencers will be like, leave the relationship. Anything's wrong, leave the relationship. This is red flag, leave the relationships. But then you will leave the relationship, but you will not leave the system. Oftentimes there was a system with your parent. You were like, we oftentimes pick a partner based on our mom. But people will be saying online like, leave this red flag, go find a normal person, or live by yourself type of thing. You're going to leave the relationship. You're not going to leave the system that you're crafting for yourself. Because all of those systems, their energy support, our communication with the world, they come as a full package usually. So you can leave your partner, but you will find the same dynamic elsewhere in life. Because this is how you harvest energy. This is how you see yourself. This aligns with your concept of yourself. This is reinforcing your identity. This has a lot of things that are your life support. So this is why leave the relationship may be short-sighted. Of course, I'm not talking about the cases in which people, for example, are in relationship that are physically dangerous. This is when you need to, of course, distance yourself physically, protect your physical integrity, and go to therapy. Run to therapy. But when you are in the relationship that just makes you feel some toxicity, or some irritation, tension, blockages, you feel like you cannot be yourself in this relationship, then it's something to go and sit and revisit. Because you may discover certain things about yourself, and you will see how your internal changes transform your relationships. How you, for example, suddenly are like, okay, I'm claiming my boundaries, I'm not doing this anymore. You know what? I always hated doing this. I never told you because I was scared. And your partner will suddenly say, oh, okay, wow. You should have told me earlier, it would be totally cool. And you would be like, okay. So you receive the reward for your behavior, for your openness, for your ability to stand for your interests. For the first time in life, perhaps. You will see how a person starts responding to that. The moment you claim your boundaries, the moment you claim your desires, you will see how friendly, in fact, the world can be. Doc Mako, gee, rewards are sometimes curses. Maybe. Very vague term, very vague statement. To agree or disagree, if you have an example, let's discuss. So you go and you start exercising new behavioral patterns after you have grown some internal support. And your relationship will be a great mirror for how it happens. And believe it or not, your relationship will dissociate on its own if after claiming your true self, after claiming your principles, you find out that you're no longer aligned. There will be no drama. It's difficult to leave traumatic relationship because it's like there's like work needs to be done type of thing. But if relationships are just not meant to be when two people are in their authenticity, they just split apart naturally and no drama happens there. Very true. Thank you. But yeah, lying, if you caught someone lying, ask yourself, first of all, you can ask yourself, why are people lying to me? Why is person lying to me? And see where it can be a trend in your life. Where else is there unauthenticity? Let me drink. Any more questions, comments, concerns, topics? I see a lot of people are already walking to mind their business. So we might be wrapping up soon. I have a question. Go ahead. I'll rest a little bit while you're writing. So self-reflect if lying is happening consistently in your life. Yes, that would be my recommendation to revisit. Where do you face the episodes of unauthenticity? Why are you the person who's being lied to? What is the power dynamic there? Or why people want to meet up in person and it's always text messages. And I've been going through this since year. It's all to text all the time, not even meeting up once. Now, what is the barrier on your meeting with someone? Whose initiative is it? Who is the impediment on you guys meeting up? Whose initiative it is to keep things in text virtually? Dwayne, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, I see now. I never thought of it this way. I guess because it's not common to self-reflect. It is, people self-reflect, but they do it in a way, I personally was probably in the same boat. When you just call someone who you have a habit of complaining. Like, some people, oftentimes, a lot of people, I think, have that dumpster friend or dumpster relative who they just call and they're like, da 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 pa 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 pa, and again, and this, and why does it happen? So we go and dump our emotions onto someone. We dump our frustration onto someone. But it's rare when there's a habit of, okay, I dump a frustration, but then I want to see why was I frustrated. So this is an important step. Because oftentimes it's just like fruitless, nagging, fruitless, complaining. People call it venting. People call it like this, like friend therapy or something. And they're just dumping frustration, but nothing in their life changes. It's like people can, for 10 years, they can be complaining about their, I don't know, whatever problems, about their relationship. It's just their go-to. And people already have expectation of them to do that. They build their verbal portrait. People literally assign to them some domain in their internal library to represent certain issue or certain assortment of issues. But yeah, self-reflection in that moment, in the moment of frustration, is super cool thing to do. Because in the moment of frustration is when your emotions bypass all of your psychological defenses. The priority of the issue becomes very strong. And if in that moment you can catch yourself, when you're frustrated, when emotions override your, everything's fine in my life, on normal day, everything's fine. But then when you're frustrated, you're most connected with the issue, the brightest. It highlights itself the brightest. If in that moment you can sit down and revisit, it will be wonderful, because then you will start unfolding this. Okay, this happened. Why did this happen? What led to this? Was I fatigued? Was I like behaving in a certain way? Did I not take care of myself for a week? This is why I'm like irritated. This is why this event happened. For example, some person will be having a bad day. They bump themselves, their elbow like on the wall, leaving their home. Then they step in the puddle. Then the car splashes mud on them. Then they miss their bus. Then they go to work. Their boss yells at them. Their co-workers are super nasty that day. Then at lunch they receive some gross food. They have to throw away their lunch, but they have to rush, so they're without lunch. The whole day crumbles like this. What led to that day? It was not that day likely. It was likely the whole array of events for the whole week when you were dismissing something important. Or some people will be like, oh my God, I had such a difficult day at work. And I come home. And my wife yells at me as the peak to kind of like top it all. My wife also yelled hard day. So the people will have this hard day, likely hard week, where they were tense, they didn't manage themselves well, they did not take care of themselves, they were neglecting their needs, their partner was observing that, tension is growing, something is wrong, mirror neurons are always in action, we're always looking for signs of the danger is approaching in other people. Their wife was looking at that all, and then this day, everything became totally bad. The wife was already worked up as well, and they start yelling, and that relieves the tension. The pattern repeats itself if people don't sit down and don't analyze what was happening preceding that. If people are upset with that, they will sit down. They're like, I don't want to argue like this. Me neither. Why did we argue? Because you came with a very, this irritated state the whole week. You had this super bitter face. I didn't feel love from you. I could not feel intimate with you. And that's what kind of built up. And I burst I threw tantrum at you. And the person will be like, okay, but I did not sleep well on Tuesday and on Wednesday. Then I overdrank coffee on Thursday because of that and could sleep on Friday. And then my boss told me something and my deadline was shifted. And all of this frustration just boiled up and created. I'm very happy that we created this tantrum such that I could release my tension. Okay, my beloved spouse, what can we do to prevent this? Okay, after I come home from work, can I have 10 minutes without any conversation, such that I can sit on my own and just decompress? Yes, we're writing this down as the law. This is our new law of our family. 10 minutes after he came home, I don't exist, nothing exists, he's just decompressing. Okay, I also want something. I want to go on a date on Thursday. Okay, we're writing this down. On Thursday, we're going on a date. Or we have a date night. Write it down. So this is how we remove this frustration, the conditions for frustration. And we move on. This is how we progress. And this is the definition, what differentiates functional relationships from dysfunctional relationships. Because in dysfunctional relationships, people will be having those cycles for 20, 30 years. Sucking their soul out mutually, and then yelling at each other that you stole the best years of my life, you told man. So this is what people will be doing in dysfunctional relationships. But in functional relationships, they'll be like, why did this happen to us? Not why are you such a dick? Why are you such a bitch? Not like this. Why did this happen to us? Why did we create this situation? And we're looking at it like engineers, like scientists. Why did this simple set did not work? Boom. Good perspective and points. I think that's when accountability needs to take place. We have to know how to handle our own emotions and how not deflect from them. Yes, understand emotions. What brought them? What conditions brought these emotions? When we both struggled, I mean by money, and I see one person making money, one person can do everything. And when the pandemic hit, we both still struggle. No, that's understandable. But then it's also the matter of priorities. Because I don't know. You see, I cannot call myself entitled by no means. I can't. I've gone through a lot of difficult situations. I grew up in very, 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 very extreme, perhaps, situations. And the gift that my mom gave me, despite everything being like absolutely almost unmanageable, the gift that she gave me is a sense that everything is good. She gave me a sense of good life and always aspiring for more. Wanting to live well, wanting to live better. This is the gift that my mom gave to me. Always look for opportunities. Always strive to live better. Always strive to do your best. If it's incredibly difficult for financial time, she would buy stuff in second hand. Beautiful, but second hand. Not some garbage from Chinese market. We were buying good, but from second hand. My mom would sew her clothes to make me clothes. If she had something something in her wardrobe, she would remodel her clothes to make me clothes. Then with food, even in struggle, there are ways to find good food. Eat less, but eat well. And all of these prints, and also always be clean, always take care of yourself, always be well groomed. It doesn't cost anything to be well groomed. Always have a clean place, even if it's a tiny room, or keep it clean, keep it decluttered. Always keep yourself in the flow of life. Never get stuck in that. Always go forward with the flow of life, with the river of life. You're always swimming in it. And this looking forward and this creating the environment in which you can create opportunity. Embracing that energy that I want. I want to be with the person. Yes, there is a struggle, but let's reframe the struggle. Let's move it as just circumstances, not struggle. Let's treat it neutrally as circumstances and look for opportunities. Set the priorities and look for opportunities. Always stay focused. I agree. And yeah, where did you grow up? Where they manufacture beauty? In Russia. Thank you. Can we see your surroundings? I it would be impossible right now because I'm not alone in my space, and I want to respect the privacy of the person that's within my space right now. Keep moving forward with the flow of life. Noted. And every looking back and always forward. Looking back, looking back is good when we journey in the stream of time in our thoughts. It's good to look back to create strategies. It's always good to look back analytically. Being bitter, attaching emotions, if they don't serve you, probably is not productive. So if it's productive to analyze the past, if it's productive um, to look back, to reflect on your choices, to reflect on your actions, to drive your future moves, it's useful. So we shouldn't just like be radical about it, being very like categorical about it. But there's place and time for everything, I think. Well, I'll just do whatever you say. I'm tired of making decisions. I just talked about it. How when work with clients sometimes it's like just tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. You tell me what to do. Um, tired of making decisions. Also, I want to pick on that, Dwayne. Tired of making decisions. What about making decisions is hard for you? Let's reflect on that. What about making decisions is inherently harmful for you, hard for you? What is it? What decisions are you making? In what state you're making those decisions? How would you describe this difficulty? Uh, where are you from, though? I am from Russia. I mean, yeah, Russia. What about 45 degrees left and right? Is it enough degrees for you? Are you single? No, I'm not. I don't blame him. Decisions can be a lot. Of course, it's a difficult thing. Just making decisions is a big thing, actually. Decision making was something that I personally struggled with so much. There was a time. I actually have this thing, always had this thing of super attachment to my mom, but not like healthy attachment, but attachment like my mom was my brain center type of thing. I always felt like I was my mom's project. And I remember there were times when I was in my 20s, I would not be able to buy a shirt for myself with my own money. I was not able to buy a shirt for myself with my own money without talking to my mom. Mom, how do you think? Should I buy this shirt or not? How do you like help me choose? I would not be able to do that. And that was once I realized that I was like, oh my god, I need to do something with that. So my first thing was like, okay, let's start with simple things. Let me start buying clothes on my own. Then I went on vacation on my own without consulting, and I spent a vacation on my own terms for the first time in life, in my 20s, and that also was a very interesting experience. So I started introducing the decision making gradually, but my experience is not something to judge your experience right now based on like it's just an illustration story to show you that I can relate to this issue. But the way I did this and the core of my problem is not something that you should think about right now. My question still holds. What do you find difficult about decision making? And just reflect on that. Why is it difficult for you? Let's say you wanted someone to be your surrogate. How would you do so without having the person you're asking feeling used as much as that is what you're doing? Let's say you want to be a surrogate. Surrogate mom or what? What do you mean? How would you do so without having the person you're asking feeling used as much as that is what you're doing? I don't know what you mean. Sometimes if I can make a decision, I would ask someone instead, which I'm aware is a bad habit. It's not what to say, you shouldn't blame yourself for it. I think it's, again, not, you have a boat right now that you're sitting in the sea of life. If you just ditch that boat, even if it's small, beaten up, old boat, that you would want a bigger, more functional boat, you cannot ditch this boat yet. What we need to do, we need to start building some alternative first. So don't blame yourself for asking for an advice, but try to see how you can expand the scope of your abilities to make some decisions, to try something new, and then to also experiment with your emotional state when you're making decisions. Can you find some sphere in which making decisions is easy for you? That's another interesting thing. In what areas is it easy for you to make decisions? And in what areas is it hard for you to make decisions? Because it might be difficult for you to make decisions regarding like what to buy, for example, money relationships, but it may be easy relationship for you to it might be easy decision for you to choose what to eat tonight. It's easy probably. Or what to buy at the grocery store. Just food, something that's intimately related to you, understand it. But something that where you have a little bit more discomfort might be difficult for you to make decisions. Yeah, surrogate mother. For example, you would prefer, how would you prefer someone ask you to be their surrogate? What? I'm not considering that. Um, no husband but taken. No, it's husband. I think I like living in the but again, what? How does it matter? I don't understand. I'm like, with all of these marital things, like it's literally the difference between you being intimately related to someone and being in marriage is that there's a government as a witness. I don't place value on that necessarily. Like in my life, in my love life, having a government as a witness or some other entities as witnesses, some institution, witnessing that does not hold particular value. To me, it's my own life, my own choice, my own path type of thing. It's from within. It's not. I don't understand why there is discernment between the two. I believe when people actually just realize that they are good with each other, when they're intimately connected, that's when their marriage happens. Everything else is what's it for? Like, besides some like just for system relationships. To build some relationship with the system, yeah, it matters. But how does it matter in personal life? I don't get it. I think I like living in the fantasy of potential and possibility rather than accepting a path and living in that permanency. Now that's dichotomy. You see, you're saying that accepting a path means living in the impermanence, but that's how people regard. For example, let's say, I will have this job or this amount of money or this house or this partner, and my life will change, will be good. Life will always present you with some problems. Life will always be, as we started with that, right? It's a flow of life. You can never like grab and control it fully. So you making a decision holds much less weight in most cases, unless it's some like very like epic decisions, very like life-turning decisions. So unless it's something like that, your decisions are just a door to a new scope of decisions. That's it. So you can reframe decisions not as like it's, this flower that eats flies. It's not like that flower that eats flies. It's the door that you open. Decision is the door that opens you and you're back to where you were. Your mind is like back to the same functions as there were before the decision. You are right now the result of all decisions that you've made. You're in the flow of life. You make another decision, new door opens, you're on the path. Presented with other choices, presented with other paths. Okay, so it's not really a bad habit. It's not a bad habit, it's an adaptation. It's the functions, some adaptations that right now play some role in your life. Right now, it has a function in your life. It's a tool. Think of it as a tool. Everything you have right now, even if you don't like how it works, is still a tool. It's an old boat that you would want to swap for a new boat. It's an old run-down house, but it still provides you shelter. You want to exchange it for a better house. You want to build a new house, but still provides you shelter. So read all these things. Not like, don't put labels on them like bad habit. It's a tool. Everything is a tool. You go to someone, hey, help me to make a decision. It's your adaptation. You are seeking something from that. Think, what function does it have for you? How can you fulfill this function using a better tool that you like better? For example, you want to feel more ownership of your life path, being more aligned with yourself. And you want to start making decisions from within. But you're scared to claim them from within because, like what we discussed with Dwayne, you go to someone to kind of share this responsibility. So why is this discomfort happening? Think about that. You are the second person I'm talking to like this, so don't think that about me that I'm doing this with all women, okay? You're special, that's why, okay? Okay. Okay. How long married? Many years. Many years. What are you talking about? I am talking about, I'm just answering questions right now. We're talking about decision-making struggles. Dwayne and Kiva both brought this issue up and we're discussing it. Think about the discomfort. Yes, so this discomfort, what does this discomfort tell you? And how you can find another path around this discomfort. You see, there's discomfort of making a decision itself, claiming the decision, this illusion of this. And there is a discomfort of actually employing someone and never owning your life. So the opposite of this, seemingly. What is the other path between them? What is it? How to streamline that? How to remove this weight in general? Where is your state? Where is your mental state? Where is your perception of life in which these two things depreciate? Lose their function. So yeah, you can actually, there's another approach. As I mentioned, you have now this tool set to solve life situations. You can change the tools. You can find other tools. Or you can have another approach in which you no longer need those tools. Or you find the path that does not require those tools. So variability can be on many levels. You can play around in different things. But the best bet is to find options, as many options as possible, as many functions as possible. It's so cool that you're writing everything down. It's really pleasant. I really care about you and I really like you, okay? Okay. Okay. Congratulations. Why is there no ring? Is he poor? No. I don't care. I don't like jewelry. If you noticed, I don't wear any jewelry. I don't care for all of that. I don't know why you are so like, I made this like in the last stream, I think, with the previous, no, it was the stream I made several days ago. I talked about it. In general, I don't understand the culture around it. I don't understand the meaning of it. Ring also, like, I watched those reels and like, is it a human trade ritual? What is that? I just don't understand. Like, I cannot force myself to understand that. Moreover, I don't go to weddings. Like, I don't care about this ritual altogether. To me, it looks like human trade. It looks like functionalization of a human. Like right now, humans from just intimate partners who love each other, who have shared goal, who have shared pleasure, shared space, intimacy, vision for life, they suddenly get exposed. There are some observers in their life. There's some institutions in their life. And they become functions. Now, like, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, and what? It's all made up. It's man-made stuff. Or I won't say the other word that starts with letter S, to be honest. And that's, for me, it's not just some like teenage rebellion. No, it's a very mature uh, lack of association with that I've experienced since early childhood. Actually, the last wedding that I went to other wedding for work afterwards. But the wedding after which I realized that I will never go to wedding unless absolutely necessary was when I was 6 years old or 7, something like that. And realized that I will never go to a wedding ever again. Neither I'm going to have my own. It's some, I don't know, dog show ritual. I don't know. It's crazy. What is this? It's some exhibitionist ritual of human trade when a woman is brought by her father to trade her in for to her husband for a ring that must cost a certain number of salaries of that husband. I'm sorry, it's like I can't fit it in to my perception of life. I can't. I'm sorry. A ring is the only material. It's the thought that counts. I mean, it's for some people, if they want to be traded for a ring, I just don't get it. I tried to get into watches. Jewelry is silly. Yeah, it's really yeah. I can't. I used to wear silk thread with flower. There was very pretty piece of jewelry that I got in Greece once. There was a market. There was a very, very beautiful girl, incredibly beautiful girl. There was this outdoors market with different curiosities, and she was selling handmade jewelry, and everything she sold was on silk cords, very, very thin silk cord, and they were very, very delicate pieces, pendants, like charms. And I got that one, and I wore it for so many years. It became absolutely gross looking because it's silk cord, and it's impossible to replace because the jewelry piece was fused into it somehow. It was like very strongly attached. So it was the only thing that I wore for a long time. I used to wear bracelets too, silver bracelets. Rings sometimes. I have glass rings that are fun from Venice. They're like fun. They're made of glass and they look like water. So they're pretty. But again, earrings, I also have pierced ears. I used to wear earrings till I was in my 20s probably. I took them off and I just can't. I just feel it all. I don't want that in my body. It's all antiquated and silly. Yeah. It can be a symbol of something. I cannot dismiss that. It can be a wearable symbol. I used to wear pinky ring. I used to wear like different symbols. Actually, I sometimes wear silvering my pointing finger when I'm presenting something. When I went to conferences, that's what I will tell you. When I was presenting at the conferences, I would wear silver bands in my pointing finger. It was my kind of like power symbol. And my presentations were really great. But yeah, I love them as like some armor. But in daily life, no. I just can't. I don't know how people like wear all that stuff, to be honest. I mean, I know how they wear it. I did it myself. But right now, I can't relate really. So, jewelry is not something I can find any attraction. And I don't think that it fits me either. You know, there are different appearance types. And there are appearances that are very homogeneous, so to speak. very clean looking. My appearance is not clean looking. I have curly, wavy hair, contrasts on my face. My body is also like not like very slender, so it just doesn't work well with me. The value of jewelry people care about as well. Yeah, that's something. I don't know how people don't understand that this like act of marriage, like the wedding culture, not just like signing legal papers, but wedding isn't it's literally human trade ritual. A man is purchasing a woman. It's really wild that it exists in the developed West still. I don't understand that. I think it's also demonstrative act. Everybody applauds to that. I feel like if it was much more streamlined, if people didn't put so much weight on this process, on the sacred nature of this act, people would be so much happier in relationships in general if they bypassed this idea of functionalizing someone from a human that they love into a function. But this is what happens. And that, I think, it puts so much mental burden on people. They're like, oh, you're just scared of commitment. People who are scared of labels are scared of commitment. No, they're not scared of commitment. They feel how artificial it is. They feel how absolutely forced upon it is, serving no purpose whatsoever other than having some very abusive leverage from some institutions on people. In the modern world, it's something very bizarre. I don't understand it. And I understand mostly how people don't understand it. To me, it has been clear since I was a child. Especially with the divorce rates that people experience, you would imagine that with how people in general treat relationships, with the divorce rates, it should ring something, but it doesn't. No, it doesn't work. But yeah, maybe I will, outgrow this, and at some point I will want myself walking as a vanilla cake, surrounded by people who are wiping their tears, like being like with some piece of jewelry, and then I would be like crying at the altar, publicly kissing someone, like knowing that the kiss that is happening during the wedding is the part of the consummation ritual that is practiced in the most archaic societies nowadays. Knowing that this is a public kiss that I need to exchange such that everyone understands that there is a consummation happening, receiving another piece of jewelry and be like, oh my god, piece of jewelry, and we're forever together. What? It's another attitude of that plant that closes and eats the fly, digests the fly, trying to, I will be controlling it, I will grab it and now it's mine. And then neurosis, and then sexual dysfunction, and then whatnot. So many different things. It's crazy. I vote against, but whoever enjoys it, they should, absolutely should, give in to this pleasure. My bad, do it always rain, then always snowing, or always snowing? Do it always rain then, or always snowing? What do you mean, here or? Something more to look forward to. Already had building plans. Like how we jump in topics and each one's relatable, also understanding. Nice conversations, lovely people. Where you that? Where I am? Yes, it's the weather is can be pretty rough. Yes, but I'm here temporarily, so I don't like to dwell on weather in general. There are people who live like, well, it's like the same thing with weddings. They're like, oh my god, this is my husband now, haha. You're not gonna run away, haha. This is same attitude with people who are like obsessive without about like uh calendar, calendar holidays, weather, horoscopes if you wish, desire to control, haha, grab something, and that's all the same stuff. The rituals, the attempts to control things, the inability to conduct the emotions, the spontaneity of life, experiences comfortably. Cannot judge people for that, of course. It's some coping mechanism, but it's, in my understanding, it's all coping mechanisms. All of these things. In the West, marriage doesn't mean ownership. The West also doesn't have a dowry. So since you don't have a piece of jewelry on your hand, that would imply simply approach you with intention of dating. Go ahead. I will respond to you. If you approach me with an intention of dating, I will gladly uh, thank you for your attention, and I will explain to you the situation. So what? It's pleasant. I mean, people can talk. The piece of jewelry on your hand doesn't mean that you cannot talk. In the West, there was also a tradition that people would go to the balls, people would go to the different meetings, the parties, and they would talk. It's self-awareness and boundaries that you set in the conversation. It's not that you are supposed to become a hermit and socially isolated creature, which actually is a super big thing. I noticed that as a couples in general become hermits because they put so many artificial boundaries on themselves. They band themselves attachments with different people, and some healthy attachments, healthy interactions, emotional exchanges. There are some, yeah, of course, there are some hygienic things. There are some things that are indeed they can kind of split your emotional richness in halves. So that's something to be mindful of. But unfortunately, yeah, it's like oftentimes couples become incredibly isolated and devoid of friendships. And then people think that maybe they need to try some, like, I don't know, polyamory or something, when they're just craving for friendships, craving for some attachments outside of their family nucleus. That much is true. Thanks. There are other siblings beautiful like you. Thank you for a compliment. Not female. So yeah, it's. Are you on dating apps? No, I actually never was. Somehow, yeah, online dating never. I skipped it. I always dated. You see, I was in physics department when I was in my undergrad. We had 450 people in my class, my year. 450 people, 2/3 of which were guys. You can shop there in real life. You don't need any dating apps or anything. Then I went to PhD, also engineering, also dominated by guys. So I didn't need to pursue. I don't know. Never was on dating apps. I don't know. I had some online. Met some people online, but we immediately went on dates. A couple of times it was happening. Some like strange events, or rather, not dating apps, but I guess it just depends who wants to wear a ring and who doesn't. But for someone who doesn't, I think that's fine. I think so too. And yeah, what is it showing? Like the rings, if you are not from a royal family, if you're not from aristocratic descent, then all of this show is just to mimic what aristocrats do. It's literally so. I don't know. I mean, I feel like from the culture that I'm from, it feels very forced. It feels like, you know how women of lower classes mimic the aristocratic fashions, wearing some like factory produced diamond on her ring to mimic some familial relic that's being passed down from grandma down. It's such a it's such a funny mimicry. Literally, it's just, I think it's class mimicry when you trying to imitate that you are like, you follow the fashions of some high society. If someone approaches you thinking you're single, just say you're not. I don't know. Seems simple to me. Well, maybe I'm missing something. Exactly, yeah. And then even if you're being liked by someone, it's totally normal to exchange that emotion. It's another artificial thing that people think that they cannot, they must assume something before they share their emotion. It's totally normal to give a compliment. It's totally normal to give a respectful compliment just to anyone. It's a beautiful act of sharing energy. It's all beautiful shared human experience. It's to show to men not to hit on you because you're taken, which leads to less chances of cheating. I don't know. You're talking about people with very low awareness, I guess. I don't know. I don't live in these categories. You should understand that I don't live in the world that you're describing. I don't. These things, they don't exist in my universe. I just don't. I cannot be bothered by this. It's something that I'm like, and what? So what? I'm from a totally different culture. I'm from totally different background. I cannot be bothered by this. Everything can be communicated in the world of adequate people, grounded people, people of similar mindset. But even with the ring, men will still hit on you regardless. Yes, I don't know. I've never worn it, but fact. Well, the ring doesn't stop people from hitting on you. Yeah, exactly. If just check the infidelity rates, it's not because of the ring. You're lucky. What country do you live in? I live in the United States, but I'm saying culture because culture is my the society, social circles that I'm from. Social circles that are open to questioning just anything. I told earlier in the stream that I was surrounded by not just men, but genius men who are capable of meta thinking and or who are capable of questioning everything, who are free in mind. And that's my experience with men in general. And this is my standard, so to speak. This is the world that I live in. People who are capable of questioning things and establishing their own path. The people who live on the basis of social norm are not people who come to my life, who stick around in my life. If that makes sense. Also, people who have boyfriends, girlfriends without being married also don't wear rings. Yeah. They will be equally disheartened if some intervention happens in their relationship. A ring is just like earrings. Well, it's just there. Yeah. This is purely anecdotal, but I've never encountered a Russian woman that wasn't pleasant. Thank you. Every country is different. Is physics your master's? No, physics is my bachelor's. I didn't have master's. I did 1 semester of master's and then I moved to the US to do PhD. So my PhD is in microsystems engineering. I was developing radiation stable space solar cells that are thin film, that are cheap to transport to space stations, and radiation stability was achieved by adding quantum dots and quantum wells into them. But also I was working on some projects on terrestrial applications where low-cost systems were preferred. So I was developing nanowire solar cells. I was developing basically the structures that would produce most efficiency such that they can be stacked on top of silicon solar cells that are mostly used terrestrially. But that was kind of a going nowhere project. I branched out to employ the same concepts to different groups of devices. All interesting opinions and topics, lovely people. Thank you all for sharing love. Really pleasant chatting with you. We kind of end up in an interesting club. But yeah, physics, actually sometimes I miss tech so much. Sometimes I want to go back to do research, but I would want to do it a little bit part-time probably. Because when it becomes your routine, when you have a lot of the workload, that's when it gets a little bit challenging. And also, I left academia during 2021, and for reasons not related to the nature of the profession necessarily. So that's why, with all of those trends going on, I don't know where this industry will end up. Um, but, but, sometimes I miss solving problems, creative problems. But again, I had experience working in research and academia, and I had experience working for the corporation. And it's much more interesting to work in academia, actually, because it's more fun, but there's less funding and less resources. In actual industry, in semiconductor industry, there's a ton of money, but you're likely to be put on the project in which you're doing just this segment of work. In academia, when I worked at the university, I had full project work under my management. It was super cool. Uh, is content creation your full-time job now? It's content creation and Tantra coaching as well. This is my profession of choice. Are you contracted right now? Contracted where? This is giving me a break from writing notes. Nice. It's so fun that you're writing notes. So cool. Um, I'm also taking a break right now. I started noticing my voice like probably half an hour ago. Started doing this thing. Yes, I always have a notebook on standby. It's a cool habit. Yeah, when you start learning something, you just want to absorb this information or put it somewhere to write it down such that you don't lose anything. How long have you been streaming? I just joined an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes now. This is my future writing stuff down. This is my future writing stuff down always. What's your IQ? I have no idea what's my IQ. Never measured it. Was it hard for you to learn English? No, it wasn't because I had no. First of all, some basics of English, of course, you learn in school, from first grade virtually. So I had some foundation, but I never had. Every teacher was always like, "Oh my God, it sucks. Your English is horrible." And then I took a sample English proficiency test, and I got shamed on it. It was an English test that you pay just a little bit of money and you do kind of an example test and you have a speaking session. And the person was telling me that, oh, you should spend the next 2-3 years before taking the actual exam learning English because it's a shame. She said, don't shame yourself. And 9 months after that, I took the test and I passed it very well, such that I could get admitted to American schools. But I was studying every single day. I was so motivated. I was so angry after she told all that to me. I was so angry. I just bought books the same day and I went and started studying. After 9 months, I was in good shape, and then a year later, I took Jerry. Uh, you're correct, madam. When I learn something new, I want to write it down. Yeah, nice. That's how my brain works. But sometimes also nowadays, when I think of content all the time, I have voice notes because sometimes my thoughts come so quickly. I feel like I cannot write them down. They come so quickly. I just want to like blah, 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 just to get something out there, such that I feel secure and comfortable. Because if I don't put those notes down, if I don't write them down, if I don't record them, I feel anxiety that I missed out on some idea. So that's why I'm always having my voice notes. How's your Spanish? My Spanish is very basic, but I'm learning Italian. Look at this. I have this on my handstand. I'm this far along in Italian. I have flashcards that I study several times a week, and I have these things. So I'm already on the second book, B1, B2. So my reading is going well. My speaking is very limited. My listening is mediocre. So that's what I'm doing right now. The thing about streaming is it's all recorded, so I can always go back for notes. Yes, mine come so quickly too. Cool. Where in the U.S. do you want to visit next? Alabama. In the U.S., I really want to visit California. Actually, politics aside, I really want to embrace its nature and the atmosphere. California's West Coast is something that I didn't explore. I was in Colorado for a couple of months, and it was a super strange experience. I remember going in the mountains. I felt like, in general, in the US, I always felt like I've been living in a movie, some crazy movie. And it was so empty because in the States in general, compared to the environment where I'm from, nature is so vast and so unapproachable. And then also, there are very few people walking in general. So there's no social environment in most places. That's something I've always missed. And where I'm from, it's always like you just go to nature. People just swim in all the water basins and all rivers and things. They go to the forest. You just sit in the forest, enjoying yourself. It's a normal thing. But then also very developed urban culture, urban structure, or urban infrastructure for people to just have social life. It's normal to live in the downtown. It's normal to have a bunch of access to a lot of things, a lot of cafeteria. You meet a lot of people. So social environment is very well developed in Russia, in particular, somewhere like in Europe, in European cities. And nature too. Relationship with nature is very different. It's not like there's private property, fenced off forest like for miles and miles and miles, and then there's some like park. This is a nature center, nature park, and you have this like several miles this direction, several miles this direction. This is your nature park. It's not like that. Nature in a lot of places is not private and more accessible. That's the feeling. Missed some stuff, but I'll look back later. Yeah, Alabama. Nah, no, thanks. I don't think that I want to visit Alabama. You're adorable. Thank you. Is your nature more beautiful in your country? It's more approachable. It's very similar to America. I mean, it depends on the climate, depends on the region. Russian South Caucasus, the one that sits on the Black Sea, was used to be a part of actually ancient Greece, I think. It's very like rocky, very beautiful mountains. What I miss is swimming in the mountain rivers. My grandpa is insanely connected with nature, and he introduced me to nature. He taught me the culture of how human body interacts with nature, how it is to embrace the sun, how it is to embrace walking barefoot, embrace just throwing yourself in nature, being in it, how it is to eat healthily, how it is to take care of yourself from natural foundation. And I really love that, and I miss being with him so much because we have our river, we have our beach, we have so many things associated with that. So yeah, that's something that I kind of left behind in Russia, because in the States, even you go to some park and there's like a waterfall or mountain river, nobody swims. Everybody's just in sneakers and spandex hiking. Nobody's walking, nobody's in nature, they're hiking. And that's something so foreign to me. Actually, one of the things that's super heartbreaking for me in the US is that factor, that there's no one who will be just chilling in some like swimsuit, for example, chilling like this with their feet in the river. They're in the park hiking, it's their family time or something. I don't know. What about visiting New York? I'm in New York. I love being in the mountains, but I fucking hate the flies and spiders. Yeah, that's the thing. Fruity Cutie is laughing. Nice. Nature is worth being around. Nature is worth being in. Being in. It's, yeah. We had Imagine. Memory from my child. The best place from my childhood. One of them. My whole family goes to the mountain river. Mountain river is called Kurjips. Kurjips. You go to the forest, you park your car, you walk a little bit, and there's a beach. The beach is made of blue clay. Different states of blue clay. Dry, liquid like mud, and just like solid but a little bit wet. And the whole bottom, the whole floor of the river is made of blue clay, in which the streams of water etched the natural water park. You go up the shore, upstream, you go in the river, you sit on one of those um, uh, cracks. They're very, very smooth. They're made of clay, super smooth. You sit in them, and then you release yourself, and the water carries you down and throws you into the basin where the flow stops. You walk back, you can cover yourself fully with mud, get under the sun, dry it out, kind of like natural facials. I don't know what they do, but just fun thing to do when your whole family is in mud, just baking under the sun. Then you go in the river and you repeat this slide. How amazing it is. I'm so happy that I had these experiences in my life. I really want to find experiences like that again. It's so cool. Yes, our approach to nature is to conquer it, not bask in it. Somewhat. Central Park was bad today and I always watch the news. Are you doing YouTube because New York rent is stupid expensive? No, I do YouTube because since childhood I really wanted to be on stage. I really wanted to exchange energy like this. And academia allowed me this. I always was on stage, actually. I was dancing when I was in school, performing, singing. Actually, I was training and singing professionally. And I was embracing that side. Actually, I'm going back to singing soon, too. And I was in the theater as well. And then in the academia, I was performing in the conferences, I was presenting, I was giving talks to a big audience. It's the best experience on the planet because you know the magic of public speaking is that you have very linear energy exchange. It's incredible. It's ecstatic. And I picked this like stage, being on stage since I was very little. Like it was no brainer for me. It was never questioned by me. When I was little, I was just like, Mom, I'm going to dance. I'm going to be on stage. I want to perform. So that's why I'm doing YouTube. I started way before nowadays. I started in 2020. I started sharing information to Russian students who were going to apply to American schools. I wanted to share the knowledge and expertise that I had. And actually, I had some success stories too back then. There are several people who just using my videos and PDF files, they got admitted to American schools. It was a really cool achievement. And then I moved on to doing raw veganism because I felt so much energy in that. I felt really like it was super mega cool discovery. I want to share my experiment with that. And then when I quit veganism, I also moved on. There's always so much to give. There's always so much to exchange with people, and it's an incredible thing. It's something that is native for me, and I'm very happy that YouTube exists and that I can do this. So it's not something forced. It's not something that I use for something. It's something that came naturally, and I take advantage of that. So beautiful. I can't blink. Everybody say YouTube is fun to do and making money on TikTok. It is fun. It can be hard. It can be fun. It can be anything you want it to be, in effect. There can be an element of struggle, especially when it doesn't give you gratification that you want. It can be, it can have different faces, for sure. But it's easiest to do when you are doing something that you're authentic about. I know I had a hard time when raw veganism, I realized that it was not working. But that was exactly the time when I got discovered by raw vegan community and everybody started inviting me for interviews and stuff. And I felt so weird. I was like, deep inside, I felt like I'm going to quit it soon. I was scared of that mere thought back then. But people started noticing me. My channel started growing. Everybody started inviting me for interviews, for podcasts. And I was like, dang. I was so anxious at that point. Oh my God. I was like, what am I doing? What am I going to do? How am I going to develop? There was no track in my mind. There was not, I was so like, just swirling in my thoughts for several months. And that was very difficult to do YouTube back then. But that's when I also got monetized, so. I never been to New York, but I'm guessing it's like LA. Different vibe. It's more for thoughtful, melancholic mood, probably more reserved. Oh, can you sing a traditional Russian song or a favorite American song? Not right now. I already, after 2.5 hours of talking, I'm sorry, I'm not putting my vocal cords through singing. I'm sorry. But I'll post something soon. I want to. You see, I was making shorts regularly. I got into habit of like, okay, I'm Tantra coach, I'm putting this content, I'm making it work. Started putting content on very regularly. Then I started doing live streams very regularly. Now I'm posting both shorts and live streams. And now I'm like, now I want to start also doing some singing. I want to share more of my art. And, oh, by the way, go on Instagram, AF Wonderlander, AF Wonderlander, somewhere in my probably bio on my channel. Go there. There is a song cover. Go there. I actually have it on my art account. I forgot, so you can hear it. I was doing some work, but I'm back now. Hello, something more to look forward to. To have consistency as a content creator, I noticed, is one of the toughest part for people. Oh my god, yes. It is. But that's where tantric principles helped me a lot. And also, there's always this choice, this very good question that you can always ask yourself. For example, there's something that you want to do. You want to go to, for example, you want to lay down and scroll Instagram right now, right? You're kind of tired. But you have piece of content to put online, for which you cannot just go online and from the same state of mind that you're like scrolling your phone like this, right? This is one energy state. This is one persona that you have, and you're like like this online, consuming somebody's content. Energy level is low. Posting content is when you need to turn on your giving energy. This is when you need some discipline to not be saying a bunch of nonsense that you later will need to be editing. That will be kicking you out of the topic that you want to be talking about, distracting you yourself. Thomas, hi. So when you're having this choice, you instantly think, if I do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? If I don't do this, what will happen? If I don't do this, what will happen? So you always do this little questionnaire in your head, and you find in the objective of this work, you find that energy that's necessary to give, to produce content. That's what I was saying. Whenever you plug into some system that is in line with what you want, you're always having energy. You're always going to be receiving energy from that system. Always energy, always a reward. So this is how it works. And one of the tantric principles, if you watch my 13 steps of tantra video, I think I touched up on that. There is this principle of moving your energy, because what is thought? What is your thought process? It's some biochemistry giving some electric energy. Actual energy is being released there. You ate, you produce some energy. And you have the choice between two things. One is, for example, your comfort zone. One is some new habit that you want to develop. Whenever you think about something, you produced already electric energy. Move it here. This energy this dominant, this new behavior will consume this behavior. You will get double reward from that. So this is how it works. You consume, with whatever choice you make, you consume the energy for both of these choices. So this is a very beautiful principle that we use in Tantra to build new behaviors without actually just like rejecting something and creating emptiness. No, we're just moving it. Do you prefer Adirondack Mountains or New Hampshire? I've never been to New Hampshire. If the Tantra stuff makes me consistent, I'll give you $1 million. Tell me what you want to be consistent in and how you want to apply it, and then you can think about the workflow. And also, by the way, Dwayne, if you haven't seen my 13 Steps of Tantra video, please watch it, and see if it's for you. because I wanted this video to exist such that people understand what Tantra therapy, what Tantra coaching is all about. Because, I mean, it seems like something everybody knows Tantra sex, but everything else is not so apparent. So 13 steps of Tantra, and then you will understand whether you can employ this method to make you consistent, and then what you want to be consistent about is also a thing. The thought process is like the decision maker. Kind of, yeah. Noted. I'll watch. Yes, watch. That will be a good starting point. Okay, love, I have to watch this Hallmark movie with my best friend ever. I think she's great as well. We hope to meet you soon, okay? Take care, love. Okay. Watch my 13 steps of Tantra, please. Too. Preferably with your friend from different devices. Would be very nice. Would be very nice confirmation of your love for me, actually. What is Tantra in short? Tantra is... let me put my notes away and I will give you the answer to what Tantra is in short. Tantra is the method that allows you, on the one hand, to find unity between your senses, between your body, between your thoughts and your actions. So basically, it gives you the sense of this very unified, very authentic experience of life. Some people frame it as the science of bliss. What is bliss? Bliss is found in that unity. So, when we achieve this authentic flow, when we are, I hate to stumble upon this. No, I hate to stumble upon this question. But I think I'm already so... I feel like I said so much already about it. That reframing it in simple terms, please bear with me. I'll reply to you very soon. So this unity, I feel like I'm just going to go into the more broad lecture on that. If we discuss Tantra from actual functions, actual methods, actions that we learn to perform in this method, in this approach, then we start, as I described in the 13 steps of Tantra, we start by firstly relaxing a human, because a lot of people live in the perpetual tension because of external stressors, because of their disconnect with their body, because of disconnect with their senses. They perform self-sabotage and they get accustomed to self-sabotage. How to find this assembly point, how to find this ground on which everything resides, is to relax. We employ relaxation techniques for the body to just find itself. Then second process that we learn, second skill that we learn, is to actually learn to tune our senses and emotions and our thoughts. We start reconnecting with our body on the sensory central level. How does my body experience feelings? How does my body experience the world around it, and how I can control it? We build this feedback, how I can induce feelings in my body. How does my body induce emotions in me? So we establish this crosstalk between body, emotions, and thoughts. Then we start learning deep brain resting techniques. And deep brain resting techniques, they allow us to also escape the rat race of life. This is another trick that we learn. How we can actually make our brain functional again, instead of just being trapped in the, just running in the hamster wheel. We're just picking instant gratification things. We are not able to be strategic, calm, calculated. No, we go back also, we train our brain to find this deep resting. We learn deep relaxation techniques also, deeper ones, in order to help this process, to reassemble ourselves, to find our ground again. And then we move on to interesting techniques that are related to healing of trauma, healing our interpersonal relationships, me and the world, and also finding the domain of the world in which love exists, in which the world is no longer just this dark tunnel. We're exiting that. And then we're doing this wonderful work on finding all facets of our personality to step out of the automations. Because a lot of times when we again live in this tunnel of the modern life, we just grab one role, hold on to it, and we try to carry ourselves through life with this one role that has nothing to do with a lot of the things that we're supposed to be experiencing in life. Tap into that and find the source of energy also. Every role, everything that we have in our psyche comes with energy. And then there is a wonderful thing when we start working, as somebody asked about thought forms, we start working with the image of the ultimate lover that we have in our idea. And that opens up the room for very deep practices as well. So eventually, from how I described, let's say, the result of working in Tantra, using tantric methods, is that you escape the dark tunnel of life where you're lost and oppressed and you don't even know what's happening, overwhelmed. You enter the world, you breathe fully, and you see the full spectrum of life. You get exposed and you're capable of connecting with full spectrum of life. And you can conduct emotions, you can conduct feelings, you can conduct bliss, you can manage negative emotions without them buried in your body. You can healthily react to aggression. You can healthily work with your body, you feel yourself. All parts of the body gets awakened. And that in the end, the last step of Tantra is tantric sex, in which you open this new door to even more bliss, to even more pleasures. But that becomes your creative playground, and tools for that are given in that last step. But overall, it is this path from a dark tunnel into this beautiful, vibrant world. I hope this answers your question. Nice video. It's 2 hours long. I'll watch it in at 2x speed. Back to writing notes. Have you thought about going live on TikTok at the same time? I thought about it. I told you I'm building the habit of making lives and also combining it with making shorts. And next step is when I want to find some software. But you see, with software that splits the streams, I don't know how it works in terms of data and like sharing your information for those accounts. Because some third-party software, I know a lot of people use them, so it's probably nothing to worry about. But that's my only block right now in the way of expanding to multiple platforms. People with deep understanding of Tantra, would they be easier to brainwash, or would they have a stronger resistance? It's not understanding of Tantra, it's the way the way you operate. Brainwashing, it's I don't know what you mean by that, brainwashing. In general, if you're pursuing something with self-awareness, it's likely that you're less prone to being brainwashed. And with being practiced in Tantra, you're more aligned with your core feelings. You develop a very good sense of authenticity and what sits with you, what sits right with you. People who are prone to being brainwashed, either they have internal inclination for the information that they absorb from the brainwashing media, or they don't have internal alignment. So they just allow things to happen. It's like the difference also, life happens to you versus you live life. There's a big difference. I think people who are prone to being brainwashed, they're either in alignment with what they are being brainwashed with, or they are just allowing life to happen to them. Well explained answer, madam, thank you. Developing better self-awareness. Yes, it's self-awareness on all levels, though. Self-awareness can be limited sometimes because person, for example, would have some body blockages, some physical blockages. They will not be connected with their body as well, and then their intuition will be partially blocked. They will not be feeling something with their body. They will not feel that gut feeling, you know? With Tantra, you start uniting all of these aspects into one composition. So you're not going against your body. You're not going against your rational. You're not going against your intuitive sensual, emotional. You are finding the middle ground where all of these work together. So it's a very holistic approach. Actually, to people who struggle with decision making, there are some tricks for, if you have conditions, if you have, if you want to make some decision, there's a fun practice that you can try. Basically, you can assign every corner of your room to be options for what you are choosing from. You need to set up the environment properly. You need to set yourself in the more meditative mood. Should be unbothered for like an hour or so. Create conditions for that. So every corner of your room or objects, some objects, are the decisions that you want to make. And what you can do, you can either play some trance music or some, I don't know, some beat or nothing at all. But something that makes you more dancey, something that makes you more in the flow with your body. And you start being aware of every decision. You can make a chaotic dance, something just where you just follow your body. And you can see which decision, what corner that you chose. Your body, what your body will be choosing, what your body will be avoiding, and what your body will be choosing. So you will actually feel this fine-tuned perception, physical perception of your choices. You will be able to listen to your intuition. Same thing can be done with objects. You can work with objects. For example, you take some toys, some abstract things, maybe some rocks even, maybe some like colored pieces of paper or symbols. You draw symbols for every bit of decision that you want to make. For example, which car to buy, or not even, for example, you have cars that have pretty much same specs, but you're just thinking, you're like torn between 2 or 3 options what car to buy. You can draw your feeling on a piece of paper for each car, and you can place those papers intuitively in your space, and you can navigate them. You can see how your body operates, because the symbol will be representing your feelings about each car, your impressions about them, and you will be watching which one will your body choose. In that chaotic, uncontrollable, cognition is off, then. So that's how you can access your physical intuition, some like connection deeper than your rational. Your body will always tell you how you feel. Yes, exactly. But then, that you see, it sounds so strange when you say ritual, for example. Tantra is largely based on rituals. And rituals, in fact, they're nothing like, you know how ancient Native Americans were drinking chocolatl, which is cacao, but it's cacao beans ground up with water. There's probably was some sacred meaning to drinking that cocoa drink. Right now we drink cocoa drink for breakfast, for example. It's our signifying that the morning has started. It's a ritual for us. They were probably summoning some spirits through that, giving them forces. We're starting the morning. We're like inducing understanding in our mind that it's the morning. With Tantra, we create space. There is a use of altar, for example. Altar can be anything. You can draw a line on the floor, or you can put a flower in front of you, like flowers, for example. You can grab one flower, put it in front of you. This is your altar now. Or you can put any object, piece of cloth, signify that this is the entry to the practice, because it's really difficult right now. If I ask you to go deep into your some, like, I don't know, childhood experience, or if I tell you to connect with the image of your loved one, if there is no space for meditation, if there's no dedicated space, it will be really difficult. So this is why in Tantra we use this ritualistic space to signify that the practice has started. I am in the space of my cognition. And this is where we can easily tap into something that in a casual fashion, in a daily life, we mute, we tune it down. For example, right now, I would need to tell myself that this is a practice, and I'm going to envision something in my body, or I'm going to do certain breathing, or I'm going to connect with certain body parts of mine. Right now, if I'm just talking, I can do it, but it won't be a full devotion of attention. It won't be a full, 100% presence. It won't be a full presence. It won't be a full attention. It won't be a full presence. 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 It won't be a full submersion in this process. So it will be a little bit half-assed. That's why I preface that practice with set it up as the intentional space for the practice. And meditations too, rituals, they don't have to be long, they don't have to be difficult, they don't have to be like very something very profound. They'll be profound when you create a space. And also on that theme of creating those little rituals, space for experiences, for metaphysical experiences, psychophysical experiences. I remember back when I was working with kids, I remember actually setting up the ritual for them as well. Because a child, imagine, it's really easy illustration. A child was running around, came from school, one society, then home, ate, and then they need to do homework. Their tutor comes, and they're sitting there, their mind is all over the place. And if you don't set the ritual for this child to signify that we're entering the space of the lesson now, the child will be all over the place for the next 15 minutes. So when we do different mental practices, it's also very reasonable to set the space, mental space, signify the ritual by something. It can be anything. And I demonstrated in the video 13 steps, there were beads, there's a shell, the shell and the beads, some objects, they signify the space of my work. They weigh it down such that my mind doesn't wander around, doesn't go pursue some external stimuli. I create stimuli, material stimuli, like a shell, for example, or the beads and the string. I create this object that weighs me down, weighs my mind down in the practice. So that's how we help our mind to stay focused on those things effortlessly. Just use the property of our mind. Guys, I am getting really tired. So probably will be wrapping up. It's been 3 hours, and I will save the recording of this wonderful stream. And I will take one more question if you have any. And I will be getting ready for my evening routine. I haven't even had any like substantial meal yet today, I don't think. I had prosciutto with salad leaves for breakfast. That was my beautiful start of the day. And an orange. What's your schedule? My schedule for streaming, you mean? Or in general? Streaming schedule. I try to come up online except for Monday and Sunday. So Sunday, Monday I have off, but I usually go online if I don't have any conflicts at 3-4 p.m. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But if I'm not on, then I am busy with something else. So 3-4 p.m. Eastern time, New York time. I have a question, madam and gentlemen. Yes, sure. 4 p.m. EST, yes. 3-4 p.m. Okay, good to know. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for your contribution today. Really pleasant. See you around. And we're waiting for that question from Kiva. Can having an improved self-awareness help self-esteem as well, or is that a different mindset process to go through? Hi, Justin. Having an improved self-awareness, of course. What is self-esteem in general? Self-esteem is your stability, is your ability to see how your actions and how your mind can influence your life. For me personally, an important facet of self-esteem is how well I can organize my life to align with my own aspirations, to align with my own desires. So this is something that is it's a very important component of self-esteem. And actually that made me thinking what your self-esteem is composed of. So that's something interesting to reflect on. And self-awareness, when you're aware of your body, when you're aware of your mental functions, of course, you will be much better at perceiving your life as something that you own, something that you control, something that you ride comfortably. Good example here is, for example, I have this ill bond with my mom. Was always a super centerpiece problem for me. And whenever I would talk to my mom, something in me would feel like something in me would depreciate my life. Because for so many years I felt like I was my mom's project. That without my mom's guidance, I was not able to function properly. So that was the nature of our attachment. My self-esteem was very low because it was very conditional and it was contained in my mom. My mom was that authority that was owning my self-esteem. And then I noticed once what happens to me when I talk to my mom. Like right now, like I was sitting, I was doing my thing, everything that I love. I love my life, I understand my life. I'm in the flow. I talk to my mom. What happens? My life becomes so small. I become so small. I shrink. I'm in some dark closet, not like looking at my life through somebody else, through my idea of how somebody else looks at my life. Even if my mom doesn't have those thoughts, I still felt like I felt compelled to diminish my life. And what was the antidote? I found the antidote. I designed the practice. The practice is giant. If I feel shrunk and small, how does it? What is the opposite of that in the metaphysical or psychophysical space? Is to grow. I'm growing bigger. I'm filling my body. So I developed the practice giant. That is, I close my eyes, I feel grounded, I stand very firmly or sit firmly, and I start breathing, and I'm inhaling, and with each inhalation, I'm growing. I look at myself, I feel myself growing, and everything around me becomes, in this landscape or something, becomes smaller, or something that upsets me becomes smaller, and I'm growing and growing and growing. And that is the ultimate embodiment practice. Well, instead of being shrunk inside of your own body, inside of your own perception of your body, because we have our body, but we also have perception of our body. This is quite different from our physical body, how we look. Our perception reads our body much differently. But from this psychophysical space, I'm growing and I'm feeling myself. And suddenly, I again get a clear perspective of my life. I appreciate it again. I'm in the flow again. So I gave myself better self-awareness, I gave myself better groundedness, I gave myself better feel for who I am. I returned into my own body, effectively improved my self-awareness, and it gave me normal self-esteem, adequate self-esteem, that my life is happening. It's just life. It's just what it is. It gave me this healthy neutrality and appreciation for what there is. As opposed to when you're not self-aware, then you are looking at your life likely through somebody else's eyes as you imagine it. In your perception of how you're being seen by somebody else, you entitle some thing in your head to carry this lens through which you're looking at your own life. You're not perceiving yourself, you're looking at your life kind of through some observer. And that is the opposite of self-awareness, and this is where you are not having good self-esteem. Because you're looking for some perverted lens to look at your life in some dark fashion. So this is where they bridge. Thank you, Fruity Cutie. And this is why the answer is yes. Self-esteem is a very calm, is a very pleasant, very neutral feeling about life. It's very experiential. And yes, I'm very happy that you asked this question, because it's really easy to explain the concept of self-esteem through self-awareness, through how it is to come to your senses, how it makes life suddenly appear in different light. Thank you, madam, for your answer. Much appreciated. Thanks so much for your question. Also much appreciated. And I think we're going to wrap up here. Thank you, everyone, for participation. I'm streaming almost every day, at 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern Time, New York City time, except for Sunday and Monday. And except for when I'm just happen to be busy. So, subscribe to my channel, like my videos. Please watch recordings of previous streams because they're all very rich in information. And write your comments, write your questions, and come to me to Human Renaissance on my website through a form of life. Human Renaissance is where I wait for you, and this is where we will be solving your problems in a wholesome, focused fashion to remove you from the dark tunnel and bring you to the world of joy. Thank you and bye. Bye bye.